Coys, pure Coys, singing from the stands. Pure Coys, everybody raise your hands. Pure Coys, pure Coys. Mabs, Crooks, Archibald,
Yes, Spurs fans, what's happening? This is Pure Coys, where we celebrate every pass, every goal, and every moment that makes us proud to be a Yid. If you're riding this journey with us, hit that like and smash that sub, because this season we are cooking. Guys, how you doing?
All's good, Nige. All's good. Night off.
I've gone for the
Lovely.
positive, straight in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite. All's good in love and war with Nottingham Forest. Get in there.
Yeah. Was it? We'll fight them on the beaches. We'll fight them on the beaches.
Yeah.
What's you been up to today, guys?
Me? Oh, me? Sorry, I'll go first. Yeah, I've only nothing much, mate. Had an eye test today. They've told me my eyes have changed, so I've got to get some new glasses. That's about it, really,
More
mate.
money.
Just a few odds and sods jobs around the house, you know, the usual stuff. Bit of washing, bit of hoovering, bit of this, bit of that.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Sheriff.
Watched a bit of MotoGP this morning, the old free practice. Like a bit of MotoGP, so I watched that this morning.
Nice.
That'll be my weekend fare, actually, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Bit of motorbiking on at the weekend, so I'll be watching that.
Happy days, man. Well,
You Sheriff?
I didn't get up till like 10 o'clock. Obviously, didn't get home till like 4:30, 4:45. Up at about 10. Went out for a fry, as I always do on a Friday. And that was about it. Then got told you can have the night off. The tractor's broke down. Happy days.
So right, isn't it? But I'm not sure I could survive on like 4 hours sleep.
Yeah, you get used to it, mate. You get used to it.
Yeah, get used to it. I think when you've got a religious time to get up and be at work, like you haven't got a religious time to get up, Mark, but you know what time you got to be at work, and you know how long you need to wake up properly, get your bits done, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, but believe you me, I'll catch up. I'll catch up tomorrow night. Tomorrow night and Sunday night. You know, I get like 12 hours sleep tomorrow night, and definitely Sunday night, because I'll go to the pub, have a few, do the meat draw, and I'll be home by 9 o'clock, straight to bed. I won't get up till like 9, 10 o'clock next morning. Nice. And I feel fresh then for the week.
So let's say hello to the chat. Evening, Lisa. Hope you're well.
Hello, Lisa.
Lisa.
Big up, not Brett May. I think Spurs will go. I think we'll go a few better than one, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Big up to the cough, the mod father.
Big up,
yes.
How you doing, buddy? Guys, let's talk about this. Let's address the elephant in the room. Let's just say hello to Dave. Big up, Dave.
Mate. Big up, mate.
And that is Morgan Gibbs White. What is going on? What's going on with this man? Is he coming? Is he not coming?
I think he'll still come. I think Forest are just kicking up a fuss because they don't want their star boy to go. That's what I personally think.
Spurs have done anything wrong, I think.
Now, I only know, I watched a bit of Sky Sports earlier. I watched a little bit, and they said that some players, when they sign their contracts, they do have a release clause, but some of them have got an NDA thing, like non-disclosure agreement. So whether he's got that, because Tottenham have exactly matched the release clause. And I think Forest are just being a bit funny. reckon that there was something dodgy going on. They found out it and offered it. But who's that bald-headed lad, bald-headed bloke that's does the transfer show on? He's been on everywhere.
Darmesh, is it?
Yeah, that's him. He was saying that he doesn't think that it will stop the transfer. He just said it may delay it for a bit.
Well, apparently Morgan Gibbs-White it's been at Spurs all day. So
Yes,
is he going to be staying now?
he
if
did
they
say
locked
this
him up in the hotel?
that there was rumblings that he travelled down, probably stayed at the lodge.
Well, I've heard that he's passed his medical, and he's just waiting for the go-ahead.
Yeah. I can't see what they can do.
But no, this come out today. Well, in the last half hour or so, it's like Nottingham Forest owners. I'm not going to mention his name because I can't pronounce it. Is furious over how Morgan Gibbs-White's situation has played out, and he wants answers. But they're saying the sources on both sides have told TBR Football that despite potential legal issues, the deal will go through. So it looks like it's still happening. It's going to be one of them, isn't it? They'll probably go to court once he probably would have scored 5 or 6 goals and it'd still be rumbling on.
Yeah, probably the Notts Forest owner may want answers as to where, if there was an NDA in it, as to where it's come from, that the exact amount, what was the clause, where it's come from. Has it come from Morgan Gibbs-White? Has he told someone? As the agent told someone? Obviously Spurs, whoever, it's come from somewhere, and I don't think the Forest owner knows exactly, who has mentioned that figure, and that's probably what he wants to find out.
Could it be just Daniel Levy being Daniel Levy? Because apparently Forest wanted 80 million, yeah? That was their asking price for Morgan Gibbs-White, 80 million. That's what they said they wanted from him from City. Could it be Levy just lowballing and going for 60 million? And it's just like, oh, okay. We've released, the release clause has been activated.
It's a possibility.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know, do you?
It's a possibility. It is a possibility. It's hard to say, really, Nige, isn't it? Like I say, I think it's one of 2 or 3 different scenarios, and I just think if the Forest fellas come out and said, well, the deal will go through, it's more of a case of he wants to know who's opened their mouth to say that it was exactly 60 million quid, and that's what was bid, and that's what did the job.
Yeah. Yeah, but billionaire war. It is quite funny. Forest owners are not all there. Spurs speak to Gibbs-White agent, see if he's willing to come. Yeah, exactly. That's what's happened.
Yeah,
he literally spoke to his agent. Would Morgan Gibbs-White be interested in moving to Spurs? And the agent's probably said, look, you could probably get him for, I can't say, but maybe around 60-ish million, maybe a bit around that.
Yeah. Well, see, if there's an NDA for a release clause in the contract, I'm not even meant to say he's got one. You know what I mean?
Surely an agent could be like, well, if you offer around this amount of money, I reckon that might be enough. That's not telling the club that there's
to be honest, Nige, we're not legal people. You know what I mean? I mean, there's, I mean, you know what the law's like. It's a bit fussy, isn't it? There's lots of probably Latin phrases that none of us understand and all that when it comes to law. It's like, it's very like, especially law in this country, it's not black and white, is it? There's always like loopholes and, you know what I mean? It's just a bit weird, isn't it, the law?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's interesting though. It just takes a little bit of sparkle off what a really good week has been. Because I don't know about you guys, but I was really excited about Morgan Gibbs-White, and I was expecting to see him tonight unveiled. And it would have set up the weekend nicely, and just now we got to wait. I know it is almost certainly going to happen, but it's just the waiting now, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, was it Wednesday, Thursday? I was expecting another signing today.
Yeah.
I was expecting, I don't know, get someone else in. Bring them on. Let's have one a day.
Exactly.
Let's have one a day for a week. That'll do us then.
Yeah. I read now it's on a bank account.
Yes, he did.
And it haven't got done. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the Odibert deal, though, Nigel, isn't it? No one knew nothing about that, and it was just announced, wasn't it? Just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this has the same sort of ring to it, apart from the fact that the Forest owner has said, "Hang on a minute," you know what I mean? So, you know, all very quiet though. You know, I know we've mentioned, not just us, but you know, all Spurs fans have talked about Morgan Gibbs-White over the past couple of years. You know, and I'm glad he's come to us. I'm really, really glad he's come to us. Very good footballer indeed.
Well, I'm absolutely astonished that we've signed 2 players in 2 days, right, that are just going to walk into our first team. Walk straight in.
I absolutely love Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's absolutely perfect player for what we need. You know, he works hard. He's aggressive. He scores goals. He can pass the ball. And he is a leader. I think if he comes in, he's our new captain.
It'll be interesting, won't it? Well, he's going to come in. I can't see how they can stop it. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I really can't. And, you know, the statement from the Nottingham Forest chap there has said the deal will go through. So he is coming. And it's just a case of, you know, whatever wranglings there are that are going on, hopefully they'll release him to Tottenham and let him get on and do his job. But you are right. There's not, you know, there's... Especially if Romero goes, you know, what's to stop him coming in? Like you say, he's a leader. He's after the ball all the time. He can see a pass. He can score a goal, and so on and so forth. What is to stop him becoming the captain of Tottenham?
I've heard something else this evening as well. And before I say what it is, Sheriff, can you do me a favour? Can you put like the link to your channel in?
Yes. Hang on a minute. Hang on. If there's any YouTube noise in the background, I do apologise. I'll try and turn the volume down immediately. No, there won't be.
It's all good. It's all good, mate. Guys, please get over to the 2 Mark Show and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you haven't, subscribe to me too. That'll be brilliant. So today I heard that I did a TikTok live earlier. And I heard someone in the chat said to me, have you heard about Llorente? Now, do you know the Llorente from... Cheers, Ben. Ben's put it in. Do you know the Llorente from, Atletico Madrid?
I haven't watched him, to be honest with you. Nigel, I've heard the name. I couldn't tell you much about him, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty certain he's a midfielder. I've seen him before and he looks pretty decent. Apparently, there are rumours going around that they have offered us Llorente as part of the Romero deal and like a cash plus swap deal for Llorente. Which would be interesting. I think he's decent.
Oh, is he?
So yeah, I mean, you know, he's not a player who's going to get you 20 goals or a player, you know, but you have to quote me on this. I think he's almost like a defensive, or number 8 kind of midfielder. But I like him. I think he's a good player. But I'd rather Wharton.
Yeah. It's interesting though. It's interesting.
Yeah. Evening audio.
At least there seems to be a bit going on now anyway, doesn't there, chaps?
I am. It's like I said just a minute ago, I am absolutely astonished that in 2 days we've signed 2 players that just walk into our team. Come straight in. There's let's see in 3 or 4 years if we're any good. You know, we got to develop them. You know, it's unbelievable. I've never... Well, do we... No, no. Do we give the chairman some praise? Not that I want to. obviously. But does he deserve credit? Does he deserve credit?
Listen, I'll say
It makes me feel sick even saying it.
I can be a bit controversial here because everyone knows how I feel about Levy, and I just say it how I think it at the end of the day, right? We've been screaming, right, for first team players to come in over this transfer window, as in let's buy quality that comes straight into the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As long as he continues to do that, so he builds a proper squad, a proper squad of players. So when someone is injured, straight away, like we have been for the last few years, going, oh, wow, look at the drop now. Now that player's come on because he's had to go off or he's not available and this one's had to come in. Look at the drop off. You know, we should be trying to build a squad of players, however many players it is, 18 to 24, whatever it is. So basically, you know, when someone does have to come on, the level doesn't drop like we've seen in the last couple of years. And that's what I want to see Tottenham build now. You know, and we've, you know, it's a very small step into what Tottenham fans want to see. But I don't think anyone will be mad at Kudos and no one will be mad that I know of Morgan Gibbs-White.
No.
So it's a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Now, I was still at work last night and Tottenham on Tour went live. Well, Brian went live because it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Or 1:30, whenever it was. It flashed up on my phone, so I was watching it. And Brian said, it's too early to give Mr. Levy any credit whatsoever. Just see if it continues in January, next summer, then the next January. You know, if this is the way it's going to go now, we're going to bring in ready-made players, 1 or 2 a window. You know, I'm not saying you've got to buy like the superstars that will cost you an absolute fortune, you know, but if we bring in 1 or 2 like 60 million, then this is all we've wanted. This is all we've wanted for us to be competitive. And if we can get back to being competitive, I'm not saying I want us to win the league every year because I've never seen us win the league. Let's get that in there. No. When we got relegated, we never even won the second division to come back up. Did we? We come up in second place. So I never even saw us win the second division.
Yeah.
But like,
I just want to, I know you haven't got there yet, Nige, but David's point at the bottom. David, I totally agree with you. I don't want to get on the subject of talking about that.
Yeah,
I don't know
we will talk about that in a bit.
Questions about that, so I didn't want to go that deep into it. But David, I agree with you. If the investments come in, Charrington's come in, and so on, Vinay's come in. Perhaps he has been moved aside a little bit, and the purse strings have been loosened a little bit. I agree with you. Something's gone on, but none of us do know exactly what's gone on at the moment. Or no. I hadn't read anything to say that something certain had happened, but it looks like there's been an influx of money into the club. They've spent a few quid of it, and let's hope they spend a few more quid of it. That's all I can say.
No, we'll definitely get into that in a bit. I got some news about that. So Mark Pitts is saying, so what do you think the season will look like with our new players starting for Spurs? And do you think we'll get trophies next season? What do you? Obviously, still early days because we could sign 2 or 3 more yet, couldn't we?
Yeah.
The way I look at it is that we won the Europa League last season by hook or by crook, however you want to look at it. And we've had the discussion on your channel, Nige, on our channel, and we've been on other channels that were not happy with finishing 17th last season. The home form in particular was shocking for most of the season. And I think a lot of Spurs fans would just like to get back to basics and see some half-decent football on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon when they're paying 100 to 150 to 200 quid to go and watch their football club play football. Now, As far as trophies are concerned, first season in, I don't know. There's nothing to say that Spurs can't go and win a Carling Cup or something like that. I don't think we're winning the Champions League. And I think, depending on if we maybe get another couple more in, the standard improvement that Thomas Frank should be able to get out of the players that were here already tell you that we're not a 17th place team. That was a bit of an anomaly last season because of what happened. So for me, I think if we have maybe a couple of good cup runs, we maybe not get to win a cup. If we do, great stuff. It would be amazing for Frank in his first season to win a trophy. But I think you've got to be looking at if you can get European qualification somewhere along the line next year, even if it's Conference League, Conference or Europa, anything above that is a bonus. And try and have, an half-decent cup run and show some consistency in the league. Try and show a bit of consistency. But to do that, you've got to have the squad and you've got to have the players to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We need a bit more yet, though. I think for that sort of stuff.
Yeah. What do you think?
I completely agree with you. By the way, 1,000,000% agree with you. Because let's face it, that Europa League that we won. Yes, I was at the parade. Yes, I was drunk. Yes, everything else. It was a great day, marvelous.
You were drunk.
Well, I might have been a little bit, right? But that really did gloss over how crap last season was.
Yeah.
It really was dreadful. And to get after the suffering that we did, because on this channel and our channel, every week we was coming on moaning about the same stuff.
Yeah.
2 at the back, wide open. Like it was. Well, I said it on this channel, our channel, many other channels. You just will take any of the videos and just put it out the next week and just retitle it Spurs versus whoever. Because it was the same moans and groans every week coming on about losing. That's not acceptable for a club like ours. It's not acceptable. And as marvellous as it was, and I'm not diminishing away from us winning the Europa League, that really did just paper over the cracks. It really did.
Yeah.
But next season, I don't think a cup's important. All right, people will say it was a worse season because we didn't win one if we don't win one next year. But it's like Mark said, get European football, at least the conference. So there was that 7th. If Europa League, Conference League, minimum. If we can nick a Champions League spot, even better. But just have a. I'm not saying we got to win a trophy, but because knowing us, we won't win one now till I'm about 90. Because it doesn't come around very often. But just get some consistency back. You obviously don't mind losing games if you get outplayed, but not just get battered by teams that you should be beaten easily. All 3 promoted. The 3 teams that went down, they all beat us at some stage last year. At home, wasn't it? I think they all beat us at home. No, Southampton did they?
Apart from Southampton, yeah. But I get it all. For me, I just want to fall in love with my team again. I want to fall in love with the players. So many of the players last season I couldn't care less about. It was great when we played, but I want to watch my side. And there were times towards the end of the season where I was offered tickets and Charlie would be like, do you want to go out to Spurs? I'm like, no, I can think of better things to do in my time than go and watch Spurs. I want to fall in love with players again and signing Morgan Gibbs-White and signing Kudus starts that off. And if we can go and get a top class midfielder now, and I'm not going to say number 6 because for me, as I said before, I don't necessarily want a 6. I just want an all-round midfielder who's good at everything. And if we can get someone else in defence, maybe a striker as well, I'm being greedy, but if we can bring in 3 more players that challenge for that first, maybe one that goes straight into the first team, and another 2 that challenge the players that are already in the first team, then I think we've had a great window, and I'm so excited about next season.
Going back to what you were saying, Nige, like about getting offered tickets and going and that. Well, you know, because I was with you and you were there for a bit, man. We went to N17 and we weren't even interested in going in the ground because we were at the protest.
Yeah.
Because Mark, obviously you were ill when you went home.
Yeah.
Me and Nige, we just went straight back into coaching horses. I had no interest.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever been to N17. First time I've ever been to N17 without wanting to go on the ground. I couldn't care less. You know,
I've got a question.
if we weren't on Sky or something that I could watch it, obviously there are other ways that you can watch games that we won't talk about. But I didn't even put that on. Didn't even put it on. I wasn't interested.
Well,
So I thought, what's the
it
point
was on
running
in the pub.
it?
No, it was on the pub, but not many people were really that interested in watching it. But okay, so here's a question for you guys, because obviously we get into Levy and everything about Levy in a minute, because there's some really interesting news about Levy coming out, and I'm going to put a link in the chat in a minute as well. Do you think these protests stop now? If we're doing what Levy's doing, what most fans wanted him to do, and that's put the team first, do these protests stop? I think they do.
I think it all depends. A lot of it will depend on, and this will sound a bit silly as well. Will change for Tottenham seem like the push that they've been putting across to Levy feel like it's a victory for them? You know, in some small way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
I agree.
Yes, it's a difficult one to answer, Nige. That really, because some fans can be fickle, mate. If Frank gets off to a poor start, and there are some people that I think hope he does after Ange last season, whether they'll change, what they think, I don't know. But there are some fans out there that want Frank to fail. I personally don't think he will, but I also think that it will take a bit of time, maybe. It will take a bit of time. There'll be a few bumps in the road. There'll be a few ups and downs, and it's going to take a bit of time. But again, it all depends. You got another whatever it is, 6 odd weeks for the window, or maybe even longer than that. I can't remember the date that it finishes. 6 or 7 weeks of the window. There may be some more incomings yet. So, at least these 2 lads, you get them in, and they're going to have a full pre-season now.
Yeah.
Which is good, because normally we're the old late winter specialists, aren't we? And then the players that we bring in don't get a chance to blend in with their teammates. They're just thrown in at the deep end,
Yeah.
We'll see. It's protest is
No.
at the moment. I can't see how they would get the turnout, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Right. As far as I'm concerned, right, my feelings towards Daniel Levy haven't changed. Right? And they won't change unless they will not change against Daniel Levy unless this continues. If he can bring in 2 top players that walk straight into the first team every transfer window, you've got to give him his flowers. But one swallow does not make a summer. You know what I mean? He's done it once in the whole time he's been chairman of this football club. But is it him? There was a comment a bit, but is it him that's doing it? Has he been budged aside and told to keep his beak out?
In a minute.
Yeah.
To that.
But to me, I will never, ever be Levy in. Ever. Ever. We could win the league and the Champions League and I'd still be Levy out. But the memories I've got, what he's done to my football club that I've supported for 50 odd years, Well, yeah, I can't blame him obviously for the whole 50 odd, but the last 20 whatever years he's been here.
I get that, mate. But what if he built a side over the next couple of years that suddenly won 2 FA Cups and a league title?
First of all, I'd probably die of a heart attack because I wouldn't believe it. I mean, no, because there's too many bad memories with Daniel Levy. There's just too many. I mean, I've done shows before where you could name a squad of players that we could have got, but with his low balling and penny pinching, we never got any of them. We could have had Jack Grealish for like £3 million or something, or 5 or something, and the players that we could have had, we got, we got one of the Fernandezes, but we should have got the other one that went to Man United.
What a Bruno, but got Gedson.
Yeah. Sane was at the bloody training ground, I think, before he went to Liverpool. And Levy was low balling and we missed out on him. And the list goes on and on. I'm not an expert on this, but the list goes on and on of the dodgy shit that bloke has done. Well, not dodgy shit, but just messing about and, being a skinflint. I mean,
it's well.
But it's like I said, does Daniel deserve credit? I don't know, because is it really him? Personally, I think he's been budged aside. I think Joe Lewis is like just come in and said, Vinoy's turned up, that Carrington bloke's turned up, and I think they've said, you just go and sit over there in the corner, Daniel, and mind your own business, and let us get on with it now. And if that's the case, that's marvellous.
Well, again, we will get into that in a bit. Let's say hello to Eugene. How you doing, mate?
Hey boys, it's been a while. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, how you feeling? Just let me know how you're feeling currently as a Spurs fan.
Very confused. I woke up yesterday and I had to check which timeline I was in. I had to look around the house. I'm like, I think I woke up in a different universe because this does not happen to us.
No, it doesn't. I said this earlier before you come on, Eugene. It's the 2 in 2 days players that walk straight into our team. That's just not us.
Yep, that's not happening.
Which tells me that Daniel Levy's been like elbow to the side, get out of it.
And honestly, Sheriff, I think it's bigger than Daniel Levy, right? Like all the rumors about the investment. I think it's not about him at this point. And I have to give credit to Lee McQueen on Last One on Spurs a while back. He was the one who said, there's going to be investment. Donna Collin is the first one to go. They're saying it was planned. It's not. It wasn't. And Levy is going to be pushed aside as well. So he was the first one, and he was made fun of. But looks like he was right. Looks like there's either investment, or actually both investment, and then the naming rights deal with Charrington on the board and changes to the board. I think it's bigger than Levy at this point. So I think whatever's happening right now, it's not him per se alone. It could be him and Vinay and the board, but bigger things are happening. And honestly, I don't care why and who's pulling the strings. I'm just super excited about what we're doing as a club. I mean, 2 top players in 2 days, that never happens. So, and it's not even about the players per se, it's the intent, right? It's like, hey, for the first time since I can remember following this club for 15 years, we actually paid the release clause. It never happens. So the intent is there. And if we get a 6, if the rumors about Adam Wharton are correct, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah. No, it's hard to disagree. I actually think, and I put some on Twitter earlier, and maybe that was a mistake, but I'm at that point where with this possible takeover and naming rights, I think you know how teams go through like stages. You have your Uniteds who were great in the 90s, Liverpool great in the 80s, Leeds United in the 70s, obviously Arsenal, Chelsea, now Man City. I think it could be our time coming. I really think it could be our time coming. I know I'm being uber positive, but if there is that much money coming into the club and Levy is being pushed aside, then maybe this is our time.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not a fan of all the money in football. It's becoming like a money laundering operation, especially if you look at Turkey and all the other countries, right? But in order to compete, we have to play the game. And unfortunately, the old model that relied on a certain way of doing things is just at this point it's not viable. So in order for us to compete as a club, we need to play at the Saudi game. It's not, I'm not super happy about that, but it is what it is. So as long as there is money in the club and we're competing, I'm gonna try to separate my football fandom from everything else and just stick to football.
Yeah, I'm going to ask. I got some questions to ask you guys. I've starred some of the questions that people are putting in, but please, guys, there are 34 in the room. Please go over to the Two Marks Show and subscribe to the channel. Really would appreciate it. Let's get them up to 450 tonight. That would be absolutely amazing. Okay, let's get into some of these questions because I've starred them. There's one quite a way back, so I'll go with that one first if I can find it. And it is from not Brett May. What would a good season for Spurs look like? What would be a good season for Spurs?
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
So
go
Mark.
for it, mate.
Personally, for me, a European place, league-wise, because league is bread and butter.
Yeah.
Somewhere, sort of fifth, sixth, seventh, Europa League, Conference League. You never know. Maybe sneak fourth. You don't know. You don't know. I know historically Frank starts slowly, but but let's face it, we're going to have more structure next year. We're not going to be wide open. There's going to be none of that nonsense like it was last year. Right? I want to see consistent performances where the players know what's going on, know their positions, and they'll be drilled properly under Frank, unlike the other fool. Right, and I think a good season for us is a good cup run, maybe semi-final of a cup. I'm not saying win anything, but like semi-final of a cup, fifth, sixth, seventh in the league, I'll take that all day. Take that all day. Just look like and as the season goes on, I want to see us getting better as well. Not start brilliantly and then pile of shit at the end. Just progress. Look like as Frank gets his message across in the first few months of the season, first 2 or 3 months of the season, then see it like what it was with Poch. When Poch first turned up, we were very ropey, but then all of a sudden we started kicking on. That sort of thing, You want to see the arrow going like that instead of whoosh, like it did last year. The first season.
Yeah. No, I agree. What about you, Eugene?
I mean, that's a tough one. Honestly, maybe it's a cop out, but I don't know. Like, I was a bit annoyed in the beginning when Ange was sacked. So I'm like, you know what? We have to win a trophy. But obviously, it's very difficult to win trophies. So for me, honestly, I'm gonna know when the season, is underway or when it ends. I just want us to go. I just want the club to have a plan and see us going in, the direction of improving. So if we finish fifth or sixth, but I feel like last season where I have no idea what's going on, I'm not going to be happy. But if we finish sixth or seventh, but I see us going in the direction where I'm like, you know what, in 2, 3 years, I can see what the plan is, I'm going to be happy. So obviously, I want a trophy, right? Obviously, I'm going to what we experienced last season at the very end was amazing, and I want to win a trophy. But as I was saying for a couple of years now, I just want to see a plan, and I want to see us improving from year to year, right? So if we finish fifth or sixth, but there's a style of play, the players are improving. Like Frank, everybody says that Frank is a great coach, and I want to see that. I want to see the youngsters improve, and if I see that, I'm like, then I'll feel good about the next season and the season after. So for me, that matters more than a position in the league.
Yeah. So this kind of question adds on to that, I guess. And it's saying from Nita, big up Nita, it's saying, do you think we will do better now we have Thomas Frank? My answer to short and sweet is yes. Guys, I'm guessing you agree. Do you
Well, let's
agree?
face it, if we did any worse, we'd get relegated.
I mean, it depends what
We'll
better
win a
is,
trophy.
right?
Well, yes, yeah.
In the league form, of course. But again, like most people in like on YouTube before last season, they said we'll take 17th and a trophy, and I was one of them. So I'm not gonna flip flop on that. So for me, last season, even though it was very painful, but honestly, let's say, it was in my book, it was a success given that we won a trophy that allowed us to be in Champions League and is allowing us to kick on. And I feel like the players that we're getting right now with Kudus and Gibbs White, that's due to us being in Champions League and getting that money. So yes, it was a terrible season, but for me personally, it was a success because I got for the first time as a Spurs fan to experience the trophy. So next season, obviously, in the league will improve, no doubt, but it just
I
depends
got
on your
I got
personal definition of success.
I got a question to add on to that because it's interesting you said that because obviously Kudus has already come out and said in his interview the fact that we got Champions League football was a big decision on him coming. I would imagine it would be the same with Morgan Gibbs White. So many of the fans, me included, absolutely livid that we finished 17th and thought it was unacceptable and Ange absolutely had to go. But do you think if we hadn't had won the Europa League and we had finished, say, ninth, then we would have got Kudus or Morgan Gibbs White?
Nope. And that's my point, right? Like the 17th to me, yes, I know banter wise it's a terrible look, but for me the difference between 10th and 17th or ninth and 17th, the only difference is money for Levy, right? I mean for every place. So to me, there is no difference. I would be almost just as mad if we finished 11th or 10th, but just winning the trophy and making the Champions League makes all the difference in the world. For me, 17th and that, I would take over 10th, 8th, and 7th, and 6th.
Guys, what do you think?
Well, at the end of the day, the game's all about winning trophies. That's why we support our teams. We want them to do well. You know, everyone knows as a manager how much I disliked Ange. As far as I'm concerned, he's gone. I don't really want to talk about him no more. We've done enough of that for 2 years. Do you know what I mean? But you can't knock the geezer. However you look at it, we won a trophy under him, right? So I'm with you, Nige, to the point of we've had the conversation many times, and I see where Eugene's coming from the point of does it matter if you finish 17th or 10th? I get that side of it. It matters to the people that are going watching it every week.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's
For
who
sure.
it matters to.
For
You
sure.
know, we as fans can sit here and say, well, we watch it on the telly every week. We're not paying 200 notes a week to go and watch it. On a regular basis, I'm talking about. So in that respect of it, yeah, it has got to improve. 100% it has got to improve on the pitch. And I think what you see on the pitch, what you will see on the pitch, you will see natural improvement. And then you will see what Thomas Frank, if he's got it, has got on top of that to push us in the right direction then on. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And just one thing to add, and this might be controversial, but since I'm not English, like for me, trophies have a different weight. Like I don't have like any history with the FA Cup and even the League Cup, right? I know the League Cup isn't all that, but even FA Cup, I know it's, there is a history behind FA Cup. For me personally, the European trophy, especially outside of England, it carries a lot of weight. Even the Europa trophy. So all the players from abroad, they, for them, that makes a difference. Where FA Cup or like us finishing 17th in the League Cup, for me, I wouldn't be happy. But the Europa Cup, it carries more weight with me personally, and I feel like with the players who are not English, they might feel the same way.
Well, it does, to be honest, because winning the Europa Cup has qualified us for the Champions League.
Yep.
You know, so there is. I agree with you. There is more weight to it, but well, it depends what age you are, really. If you were around the age that the rest of us are, the other three of us are, the FA Cup is massive. When I was a kid, it was massive. The whole day on the TV in this country was the FA Cup on both channels, ITV and BBC. I especially remember it on BBC. It was the whole day, from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. That's all it was. Breakfast with the players. The coach trip to Wembley with the players, both sides. And then there was all the build up. It was on all day, and it was the only game when I was a kid that was televised on the television, unless England was playing in a World Cup, or it was the only game that was on TV. There was no others. There was none of this like Sky where you get like 3 or 4 a weekend, one on a Monday, more football than you can poke a stick at. There was none of it. That was the only game that was televised, unless it was England or it was a World Cup.
Yeah, no, it's weird, isn't it? Because I was having had a bit of a ding dong with Stow on Beyond the Lane when I said that finishing 17th I thought it would make it difficult for us to sign anyone decent. So I thought, who's going to want to come to Spurs when we finish 17th? And he was very much like, we've just won a trophy. Players will want to come to us. We're in the Champions League. And I wasn't having it. I was just like, I don't get why players would want to join when we finish so low and we look so poor. But players are joining.
I mean, you take Ange out of the equation, that's completely changed now.
With United, it's the same thing, right? I think the players look at the name. I mean, the season before we finished 5th, and for the last decade we were competing for Champions League. So when the players look at us, even though for one season we finished 17th, they know that we won't anymore. It was an outlier, same as some other clubs, top clubs. So they look at at the wages, London Champions League, and I think 17th, honestly, don't think. I mean, if we wouldn't be in Champions League, for sure, that would make a difference. But now, I don't think it does.
Right. I've got another question here from David Clark, who says, do any of you lads actually believe that Levy has bought in the ex-Arsenal CEO and Charlton? Charlton is an advisor to the Tavistock Group and actually lives in the Tavistock estate. What does that mean?
Well, Tavistock is Enoch, isn't it? I believe.
It's part of Enoch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be Levy. That would be Lewis.
Yeah, it'd be Lewis. That would be Lewis that's bought in Charrington.
Yeah.
Basically, what I read was to keep an eye out and see what Levy was actually doing. That was the first instance when it first broke about, his daughter, Joe Lewis's daughter, and Joe Lewis's son not interested in football like the daughter is, and so on and so forth. And that was the route that was going down with that, I think. But it seems to have changed in the boardroom anyway, doesn't it? Virtually everyone's gone apart from Lang. So, new faces are in. And like David says, it'll be interesting to see who actually, made these actual appointments. Was it Levy or was it Charrington?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever find that out.
It's Vinay, I think, or
Right.
at least I read something again. Just maybe it's not true, but I read that Vinay is very much involved in the footballing operations. So it's him and Levy and the board. So again, I don't think it's going to be how it was before, where it was Levy and that's it. I think now there's a group um, that make the decisions. So Levy is just a cog, and if he does what he promised a while back, he moves back from the footballing operation. That'd be amazing. He's a financial, he's a genius in finance. Just let him do what he does best, and let the football people do football things.
We agreed.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It's interesting what David says here. A couple more signings and the youngsters won't get a look in. Are you concerned about the likes of Bergval and Gray? Just kind of, if we get Morgan Gibbs White over the line, that maybe he won't get that much game time, or is it up to these youngsters to step up to the plate and prove why they're good enough?
That's the last bit you said is spot on.
Hmm.
We
it's
wanted,
that. Yeah. I was just going to say, Mark, sorry, it's that. And you've got to remember as well, we've got a lot of games coming up this season. In especially in a short space of time. Once the Champions League starts, you're going to be playing whatever it is, Tuesday to Saturday, Wednesday to Sunday, whatever it is. You're going to be playing twice a week pretty much. Even if you get knocked out of the Champions League, the League Cup's going to start. I think you bypass the third round, didn't you, or whatever it is. So that'll start. So, and then your FA Cup comes along as well. So I think there's going to be plenty of game time for everyone, to be honest with you. And this is when you'll see, when the transfer window's finished, how strong the squad actually is now. With the additions we've made, will we all then look at it and think, oh yeah, this could be all right, because it's a different style of play, a few different players, so on and so forth. I think it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. My concern is more not with the senior players coming in and the youngsters having to compete. My concern is more with us buying youngsters and blocking the pathway for the academy kids. That's my biggest concern. If you look at, Donley's, Divines, Mikey Moore's, when we buy other youngsters, Takai, and last season, Tell even, Odebert, how those youngsters will impact the academy kids. And if the academy kids feel like there's no pathway to the first team, that's going to be an issue. Because if you look at Liverpool, if you look at City, at the big clubs, they buy top players, but then there's a pathway for the youngsters, and that's my issue. It's not the senior players, but it's the youngsters that we keep buying.
Yeah, the thing is, though, if a youngster, we're talking 16, 17, if he's really all that, he's going to burst his way in anyway. You only got to look at the ones in the past, Wayne Rooney and that. I mean, he don't come around every year, obviously, but like, if you're good enough, you're going to do it. And unfortunately, the dog-eat-dog world that we live in, if you're not good enough, you're going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah, the
But
way I
sometimes,
see
Mark,
it is
if you look at
we've just bought,
sorry,
we've
Nigel,
just
go
brought
ahead.
Kudus in, yeah. Sorry, mate. We just brought Kudus in. As far as I'm concerned, if you're Mikey Moore, you're like, wow, what can I learn off this guy? What
Yes,
can I learn off this guy?
yes,
I think it's going to make our youngsters better in the long run.
Yeah, I was about to
yeah,
say, sorry, if you look at Harry Kane, for example, Mark, right? He wasn't one of the youngsters like, oh my God, he's it. It took him a long
no,
time, and he
yeah,
was
yeah,
about to
yeah,
be sold for peanuts. So I'm sure there could be some players like him who just need a chance and time, and time. And if you look at him right now, we can say nothing special, sell him, but all it takes is some playing time. And I'm concerned that us buying more youngsters and us paying big money for youngsters like Tell, for Archie Gray, right? That might not give our academy players a chance to show what they
yeah,
got in real games.
yeah.
So I see your point, but that's my concern.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they're good enough, they're going to make it. If they're
Yeah.
not, I'm on about the academy players. I'm not on about like Archie Gray at 40 odd million and Bergval and all the rest of them that we bought in. But if you're good enough, you're going to make it. At the end of the day, it's football is very, you know what I mean? If you're not good enough, someone's going to nick your shirt, basically. you know, and it's up to these youngsters to prove that they are good enough to take the shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they're not, the wheat gets separated from the chaff, and the chaff gets discarded. You know, it's harsh, I know, to say that, but it's the way it should work.
It's the
We're a club that
same.
want to win things.
Go on.
If
Go
we're a
on.
club
Lou.
that want to win things, we want, you know, we got to separate. Like, oh, let's get the youngsters through. We
Yeah,
want to win stuff. You know, if that means buying ready-made players in, then that means buying ready players in.
yeah.
Sorry
I got
about
no
that.
qualms with that because we've been moaning about this for ages. When are we going to sign a ready-made
I
players?
think with young players as well, sometimes, especially in professional football ranks, that, you know, whether you're a young player or not, if you get to 16, 17 and you're still, you know, part of a top professional team, you've obviously got something about you, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the times that you can look at it as well is it's okay to say, where's the pathway coming from the young kids, right? But you want that player now and again that's going to come in and take that opportunity. They haven't had the opportunity. Someone's got injured. The two players in front of you, one's suspended, one's injured. This is your time to shine now. You know, bang, in you go. Let's see what you can do. And sometimes that's how players are made. You know, you have to wait for your chance. And then when your chance comes, you know, you're lucky enough to take it. That bit of skill, that 90 minutes or 80 minutes of having a great game against whoever you're playing against. You know, next day everyone's raving about you. You're all over the back pages and so on, and then it can take off from there like that as well. You know.
Yeah,
No, it makes sense in theory. I agree. My only that's why I wasn't happy with the Tell signing is that might impact Mikey Moore's time. So it's like, why are we buying another 19-year-old when we actually have
Yeah, I get that.
Mikey Moore who needs more minutes to show us if he can do it or not? And now, obviously, it's good to have competition between him and Tell, but I don't know. We'll see.
Guys, I need to catch up on the chat. Have you guys met any ex-Spurs players? Mark Pitts has met Mickey Hazard, Glenn Hoddle at Swindon. Guys, I've met Ginola. Well, I didn't meet Ginola. My ex-wife met Ginola. I was too scared to go up to him. He looked too gorgeous. But apart from that, no.
Why did your ex-wife want to meet Ginola?
I don't know. Don't know what it was.
I don't get it either.
No, that's why she's my ex-wife now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was about to say, but I don't want to say it.
Hang on. I met Gary Mabbott. I've met. Come on, you idiot thing. Mark, do you want to go? You met, I think. Oh, I met Eric Torsvet.
Yeah, Billy Samways, Glenn Hoddle. Back in the day when I was a kid, Jerry Armstrong, Ian Moores, bless him. Loads. The one I remember most of all, and it was actually, I've spoke about it before. I was over at a dog sale at Henlow Greyhound Stadium, and I'm sitting there waiting to bid on a dog to buy. I'd watched them trial on that. And who's sitting next to me? And I couldn't believe it. I had to look twice. I looked the first time. I thought, no, that's not. It can't be him. And then I looked again, and it was him. The General, Keith Birkinshaw.
Someone else you missed out.
Sitting right next to me, and we had a good old chinwag about Spurs and Greyhounds for about half hour, 40 minutes. And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
What a lovely, lovely fella.
Someone else you've met, mate, and you've told me about this. Who is it used to have the lockup when you was a kid?
Stevie Perriman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stevie. He's lovely
You
bloke.
him.
Knock about football.
It's the odd average player, you know.
Yeah. Loads of them over time.
Oh, I met Paul Stewart as well.
I love this comment.
Yeah.
Gaza used to deliver to Gaza's house in the back end of Nazin, where he lived. Yeah, been to his house, chatted on his doorstep for a bit. You know, many a time. Met him in Oddiston before when he'd been going to the old post office in Oddiston. And I've been across the road delivering. Shout, "Oi, Gaza!" And he'd go, "Come over and have a little chat for 10 minutes." It's brilliant, mate. Brilliant. You know, fantastic. So they're just normal people at the end of the day. We all think they're heroes on the football pitch. Do you know what I mean? And to us, they are. But when you get chatting to them, You know, they're just normal, down-to-earth people. They don't think they're anything special, mate. They're just normal human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah, agreed. Yes, Gibbs White is absolutely going to happen. I don't know why I know that, but I just do. It's got to happen. I would be devastated if we don't get Gibbs White.
Well, Brian, he was in the chat earlier on. Not sure if he still is. Mr. Daigle will be bloody suicidal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he loves MGW, doesn't he? Definitely.
Yeah, he's been calling them out for a long time, isn't he?
Yeah.
He wants I just want Spurs to be the best team they possibly can. Guys, there's 57 in the room, which is a record for Pure Coys.
Is it?
Please get over. Please
Smash
get
a
over
like.
to the Two Mark Show and subscribe.
Oh, do you want me to sneak our link in again?
Yeah, stick it. Just keep sticking it in, mate. Every couple of
come
minutes.
on, people. Nige is on the way to 800. Let's get Nige to 800. I've just checked. He's on 772. I'm sure 28 of you can get in here and get Nige to 800. Get him on the road to 1,000. We're on 430 odd, trying to get to 500. So I'm sure a few of you, if you haven't, could smash the like button, sub button for us as well. That'll be brilliant stuff. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with regards to what's happening with, I tell you what, I got this picture off Twitter earlier. I absolutely love this picture. This is brilliant. Check this out.
Oh, I saw that on Facebook.
It's so true, isn't it? Bless him. Bless him.
Brilliant.
But yeah, obviously it's like Spurs. There's major things happening behind the scenes. You know, there is investment as well as a large sponsorship deal for Tottenham. The changes will see a management reshuffle as well as new roles. Daniel Levy is likely to stay, but possibly in a different, reduced, and even non-footballing related role.
Excellent.
Do you think this has happened already? And maybe this is why we screwed up the deal for Morgan Gibbs White, because Levy had nothing to do with it.
Who knows?
It's possible.
Who knows? Who knows, Nige? All I know is he's our player now. And I'm so happy that he's our player. They can do all the wrangling that they want to do, man. But if we've met the release clause, I can't see what they can do about it at the end of the day.
Did you just say then, Nige, there was a major sponsorship deal coming in?
Yeah. That's the rumors. Either the naming rights or the sponsorship.
Naming rights.
Yeah.
The Amstel Stadium. The Amstel Stadium.
You never know. You never know, mate. That would be amazing.
Free Amstel.
Hey, it could be worse.
I'd go every week. I'd be there every week.
Yeah, at £10 a pint.
Anywhere that sounds.
Yeah.
Anywhere that sounds.
Maybe not. I'd still be down Tesco's 4 cans for £4.
There you go. It's got to be done.
£4. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal. You know, £4.
Well, they used to be £5. £5 for 4 cans. Now it's £4 for 4 cans.
That's good. That's good, guys. Please subscribe to the Two Mark Show. Get on it. Literally, you don't even have to leave the room. Just click it. Bish bash bosh. Totally free. And yeah, let's do it. Big up Tottenham Logic. Alan, top bloke. Go over to Tottenham Logic. Subscribe to his channel as well. Lovely, lovely guy. Hello, mate. How are you? I've not seen you for a long time. Well, I've never seen you on YouTube, but big up, mate. So let's just pretend that Morgan Gibbs White is signed. He's been, you know, fans have seen him. We've had the video, we've had the interview. Who is next? Who do you want to see next in the door at Tottenham? And then we'll talk about outgoings.
We all agree we need a 6, right? So it's just a matter of who that 6 is.
Depends who you want.
If it's
Wharton, younger 6, or do you want someone that's got not necessarily Premier League experience plus a bit of European experience, or are you happy to take someone that's got the Premier League experience?
Let's just go all out. Let's just go all out. The next signing is going to be Messi.
Too old, Mark. Too old. I don't know.
musings of a football fan. It's really difficult when you're trying to run a show and you've got chats coming in to catch up with everyone. So if I've missed your chat, I apologise. But much love to you, buddy, and thank you for joining us. Yeah, who's your so who would be your number 6 or your midfielder that you would bring in?
Just
Adam
given
Ward.
that we have a young team, yeah, Wharton, and plus it's just good to see English talent on the team. If it be Gibbs White, Wharton, Archie Gray, Solanke, Johnson, even though he's Welsh, but that'd be good to see. And Wharton at 21, he's experienced and he has some room to grow. With Frank, he would do bits. If not, then it's Dougie Luiz or Polinia. But regardless of who it is, we need a 6.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
Any players in mind? Any players that you'd like?
the thing is though, with this 6 conversation, Frank chops and changes the system so much. Some of his systems we need one. Maybe some of them we don't. So
Right.
the thing is, he's not as sort of structured and rigid as Ange was. Like, what was Ange's system? 2-8 on it, or whatever it was.
2-8.
Like, but
Sometimes 1-8.
he plays 5 at the back. He plays 4-4-2. He plays 4-2-3-1. He play all sorts. He's done, isn't it? All sorts.
It is.
So I think personally, you got to get versatile players in, but you don't want to go down the track of, sort of jack of all trades, master of none.
None. Yeah.
Mark, if you're playing with Morgan Gibbs White in your team, who's an 8, who gets about, right, 8/10, yeah, whatever way you want to look at him, right?
Yeah.
With who you've got in your squad now, you know who the 2 players are, yeah, that are in the squad that are first in line to be your, if you like, defensive midfield player. Whether you agree with them or not, I personally don't. Yeah, as for me, we need a 6 that's forward facing. Right?
I agree.
So not facing your own goalkeeper all the time. Bentancur can't do it. They've tried Basuma at it. He can't do it. He's an 8. Basuma is an 8. He's a box to box. Yeah. Pick the ball up and give it to someone who's better than him to do the magic with. That's what he is, right? We've got no one who can break play up. They tried, Ange tried Bentancur running about all over the pitch, putting fires out. He tried Basuma doing the same thing. But doing that then negates you going forward, right? So we need someone who will break the play up, give it to someone, in advanced positions who's going to work their magic. And that's where we're lacking at the moment. That's where I see us lacking at the moment. Breaking play up when the opposing team is coming at us in the final third. That's where I'm at with it.
For sure. And that's why, for me, Wharton would be amazing. Because if you look at the way Frank played, he plays on the counter often, right? He gives up possession and plays on the counter. So we need a 6 who can actually make that pass. Polinia, he's a destroyer, but I don't think he's a good passer. Luiz is a better passer, but again, for me, profile wise, Wharton is that guy. He can put in a tackle, he can get stuck in, but the best thing about him is, as you said, he can make that pass and start at the counters. And we need somebody who can actually do that.
Yeah. Guys, anyone wants to come on, I will put a link in the chat. As long as you're wearing something and you're polite, anyone's welcome on to talk Spurs. But it's imperative you are wearing something because don't want to get banned from YouTube. Is anyone got any questions in the chat? Feel free to ask a question. For me, Morgan Gibbs White for me answers so many questions because if Morgan Gibbs White comes in, he can not only play as an 8, he can play as a 10. Madison can then play off the left. And I know, because the thing is about Frank, we're not always going to play wingers. And I know, Eugene, when I said he can play as a 10-year-old thinking, yes, Madison's out of the team, but
He'll
I
be on the
still play
bench.
Madison.
Yep.
But I think there'll be times when you've got overlapping fullbacks. So you may not actually have wingers. I don't think Kudus is going to play as an out-and-out winger. I think he's going to play more inside so he can cut in and get shots off and stuff. And I think then you're going to have the likes of Porro and Udogie going down the line, getting balls in the box. And Madison just playing off the left, floating now, I think could be brilliant. I think there's so many options if we get Morgan Gibbs White in to this team. We can play in so many different ways. And I can't wait to see it. Absolutely can't wait to see it.
You know what? The best thing for me, obviously outside of the tactics, sorry, Mark, with Morgan Gibbs White, he's a leader. And this team has been missing leaders for a long, long time. And the way he carries himself, he is a natural leader. So for me, having him in the midfield for the next 5 years, I think outside of the tactics and his talent, just the leadership alone is worth it.
And I definitely think with Kudus as well, if you go back a year, forget last season, right? We talk about players getting people up off their seats. This geezer with his footwork ability and to take on a man, he is the sort of player that Spurs fans love because he can be a bit of a piss taker. You know what I mean? He's that sort of player. He's the sort of player that will beat a player. And if he feels like it, he'll come back and do it again just to take the piss out of him. He's that sort of bloke. And Spurs fans love that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been known for players like that over the years, that'll have a right go at someone. And to be fair as well to Kudus, at times he's got a bit about him as well, like Eugene says about he can be a bit fiery, and he gets stuck in a bit like Gibbs White does. So it'll be interesting to see. I want to see Frank put his arm around him. Kudus, I think, is one of them players. It's all about confidence with him. Tell him he's the greatest. Tell him he's the best player in the world. Go out there and show it. And I think he's definitely his motivational skills will come in as far as Kudus is concerned.
His interview was brilliant.
I just want to say, Nige, to your point about Madison on the left, and for the last how many years, our issue has always been we cannot break down the low block. And I feel like if you play, and Madison was lost because he was the only one with any passing ability, right? So if you have Madison, Kudus, and Gibbs White on the pitch at the same time, there's a lot of passing, there's a lot of movement. So I feel like the low block should not be as big of an issue as it was in the past. So I'm super excited to see how Frank can manage all the players and put them on the pitch at the same time.
You know what else is even more exciting than that or just as exciting, that we haven't even mentioned Kulusevski or Johnson, or if Sonny stays.
Again, Ole. No.
Can I
ask you a question about Kulu?
Oh, that's right.
With Kulusevski, so I'm looking I love Kulusevski. I love what he's about, but now when I look at him, I don't know how he fits. He's not a 10, he's not an 8, he's not really a winger. How does he fit in this team? I'm not sure. I'm having questions about, I know what he brings and all the intangibles, but position-wise, I just don't feel like he has a position. And that concerns me. I wouldn't be mad if we sold him, to be honest, at this point, even though I rate him as a player. I just don't feel like he has a position.
Well, the news isn't it, that we're selling Basuma, but they are saying that one more big player will go, and everyone's assuming it's going to be Romero. But guys, what do you think? Kulu, could he go? I think he could. I don't see a place for him in the team.
Bentancur, Kulu, yeah. Son. I hope.
When's he going to be fit? When's Kulusevski going to be back fit again? Because no one's going to buy him until he's fit.
Well, no.
There's rumblings of that. Is it October or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's into the season. They're not talking about him being fit for the start of the season. It's after the season started, after the window's closed.
Yeah. So if he's going to go, it might be January.
But if he stays, let's assume if he stays, where would you play him? Would you play him in the midfield? Would you play him on the wing? Because he doesn't have the pace to be on the wing. But in the midfield, we have better options at this point. So it's tough.
Yeah.
He's always said himself that his
Yes.
favoured position is a 10.
But for me,
But is he?
he's a false nine for me, right?
Yeah.
If Frank plays with a false nine, he'd be a good false nine. As a 10, I just don't feel like his vision passing is good enough to unlock, right, like low blocks.
The thing I think
his
we
work
will
rate
see
is great, but his passing and just I don't know. I just don't see it personally.
the thing I think we will see is players played in their correct positions. Like Brennan Johnson is a perfect example of that. I think Brennan Johnson is going to be played as that inside forward, like second striker, whatever you want to call him, because Brennan Johnson has never been a winger.
Bang on.
Yeah.
When he plays two up, there's going to be times when he plays like he did at Brentford with his two and his striker up front in a 4-3-3. I think you'll also see times when he has to block the midfield off, when we're under a bit of pressure maybe, and he needs to play the 5 in midfield. So he'll play the 3 at the back, and he might play like a 3-5-1-1 or a 3-5-2, have Solanke and have either a Son, a Tell, a Johnson, which they say are all wingers, but we all know they're not wingers. They're inside forwards playing as a second striker off of Solanke or Richarlison if he's still here. I think that's.
And don't forget that Gibbs White and Johnson together, they played really well together.
When you look at Johnson when he was at Forest, he was never, ever, ever, ever. I said it on multiple shows. Johnson was never, ever a winger.
Yeah.
Now, Johnson was berated by our fan base, but I always stood up for him. He was never, ever a winger at Forest, ever. And yet Ange stuck him out there. Yes, he got a lot of tap-ins, but that's because he's an inside forward, a second striker. That's what he was doing at Forest. He was getting it. He's not big enough to hold the ball up. I'm not saying that, but he was that run onto the flicks and the knock-ons and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and put it away then.
Mm.
I think Johnson's going to shine. I think Johnson's going to shine in the system.
You got to remember that Johnson and Morgan Gibbs-White had a really, really good partnership at Forest.
Yeah,
almost telepathic apparently. So it's going to be interesting. I think this is why I think Morgan Gibbs-White is so important to get over the line, because just one player I think opens up so many options in that forward area. And we've not even mentioned the likes of Odebear and Tao. Where do they even get game time?
Yeah.
Where do they play?
They will, because I think, like Eugene said,
I got to run.
Yeah, then. See you later, Eugene. You take care, mate.
Buddy.
See you later, Eugene.
Thanks, boys. A pleasure as always.
Hey,
everybody sub to Nige and Marks.
Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Mate.
Thanks, boys.
What was I going to say? Yeah, like Eugene said, Nige, I think that you'll see him playing different systems. Do you know what I mean? For certain games, I think he'll look at opponents and play a certain way in a certain game with a certain system and formation. And I think that's where players that we think may not get a chance or as much of a chance, that's when you might see them play. A bit more often. It's going to, like I said earlier, it's going to be interesting, man, because, you could be sitting here thinking, oh, this has got 4-3-3 written all over it. Do you know what I mean? And he goes 3 at the back. You know, it's just like there's so many options that he's got.
Absolutely. If anyone's in the chat, Scott M, if Perchy, if anyone wants to come on, Hasper wants to come on and have a chat about Spurs, I put the link
Dan's in here as well. Dan's in
here. Can I just say as well? Can I just say as well, just before we carry on, there's 80 people in here, 80, which I'm sure Nige is very happy about. I know I am for him. We need another 2 people just to hit the like button to get to 50. So if two of you that haven't done that can do that and get it to 50 likes, and then we'll go from there. That'll be fantastic for Nige. He deserves it. He works really hard.
And do not forget, please get over and subscribe to the Two Marks Show, guys. I know it's hassle to click the link, but honestly, if you guys could do it, that'd be much appreciated. Let's get them up to 450. You know, we
are
work really
chasing
hard
down
as
that.
YouTubers to put content out, and you know, as much as it is, if it isn't for you guys in the chat, it's really pointless doing a YouTube channel. So thank you to each and every one of you. But at the same time, we need your support. So any subs for the Two Marks would be much appreciated. And we are live tonight tomorrow night from the Two Marks Show. So join us for that.
Yeah.
Has Spurs here?
Hey, right.
Yeah, buddy. Let
Yeah.
us know how you're feeling, mate. How you feeling about Spurs?
Well, I'm a lot happier than I was a few months ago. Hopefully, Levy's staying well away from what's going on right now. I don't think he's involved in it personally. But yeah, I think what's really shocked me the most is more the Gibbs White thing more than anything else. I think the deals before that, like obviously tell the Japanese guy, I'll probably say his name wrong if I try it. And even Kudus to an extent, I thought was more Levy stuff because obviously we sat and negotiated for Kudus for like a few weeks. But this Gibbs White thing has kind of really shocked me. Like, I was like, what's going on? In the morning, I opened my phone and there's like, oh, Spurs interesting Gibbs White. So I was like, okay, I'll just leave it. I finished work and then I opened my phone. It's like, oh, they activated the release clause. Like, what's going on? Like, what is going on? This does not take 2 hours for us to make a signing. So, like, especially signing like that, because my dad really, really likes Gibbs White. He really rates him. Obviously, he's a young player, but also another one who liked Kudus even more. So he can play loads of positions and can like excel in most positions as well. Like I wrote in the chat, I see him more as a 10, but a lot of people tell me he's more of an 8. But I even think he can play on the wing to some extent, or a forward, if you want to name it. Like he's one who he can do really well under Frank, especially with Johnson there. I think they could work really well together from before. So like he gives us so many options. Obviously Kudus does as well, but I think he's more signed for like the right wing option because we were starving for a right winger. So Kudus kind of fills that. But yeah, I just hope it continues. I just hope we can do business this way. And for once, we're buying before we sell. Mate,
I know, it's nice, isn't it? I actually think Morgan Gibbs White is the first player we hopefully, touch wood, bought in a long time that can do is really good in like 3 or 4 positions. Whereas usually we buy a player who's good in one position and can fill in other positions. I think Morgan Gibbs White is a great 8. I think he's a top 10. I think he plays well on the wing. I think he could even play as a 6 if needed, not to the quality of other players, but I just think he covers so many positions.
But I think it was key to get these kind of players under Frank because Frank likes to change the system so much. So you could see Kudus play in, like you mentioned, as an inside forward. I see him as like more of a old school winger, sort of like Aaron Lennon, I guess was when I came to my head first. But that sort of player. But then he can also play as an inside forward. Obviously, like you mentioned, Gibbs White can play loads of positions. But I think we need to sign players of this profile or caliber, whatever you want to call it. I think more the player profile because Frank does like to tinker the formation. So he's going to need players that are going to need to fill in positions quite just, the word is like easily. Like, you know, they can just slot in there and just change their style to whatever formation he's going to play. Or, yeah. So I think we need to keep signing the kind of profile like this.
It's weird, isn't it? David Clark saying, why would you even mention Odegaard or Tao? They're both not good enough at this level. But we literally signed Tao a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I forgot all about him.
They've got to do something with him at the end of the day because there's 75 million quid's worth there. You know what I mean? They're not like 5 million that they've spent each on them. You're talking 75 million pound worth of players. So I can't believe they're just gonna have just got them in and then they're, you know, within the last season and then they're going to let them rot. They will have some part to play throughout the season because the top players, you know, the signings that we've made, your Madisons, your Romeros, probably your Van der Vens, you could go through the team. They're not going to play every game. They're just not going to play every game. It's not going to happen. So I will expect you'll see a bit of rotation, as in, you know, youngsters being fed in, but in the right way, rather than just being launched in position, you know, in a position that they're not used to. I'll go and play left back today, mate. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to be a midfielder. You know, play them in the positions that they're meant to be playing in. And that's what we was asking, you know, round pegs, round holes. Too many square pegs, round holes last season.
Yeah.
Let's play them where they're best at playing and let them do what they're best at doing. And I'm sure Frank will find that out in his training in pre-season and his games in pre-season.
And following on from what you were saying, Matt, you got to remember we're playing Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday for a lot of the season.
Yeah.
So there will be that rotation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So do you see like two different teams going out for different games?
Yeah. I had a theory, obviously we'll find out next season, but that he might play one formation in Europe and one formation in the league. I mean, they might vary every so often, but I think he might do something like that. Like maybe in Europe, he might play a 3-5-2 just because we need, say, more bodies in midfield, and playing a 5 at the back gives us more fluidity. But in the league, he might stick to a 4 because he did that obviously last year with Brentford. So it could happen that way. I don't know. I had a theory it might be like that. But...
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
You all right?
How you doing?
Good evening. Big up.
How are we doing? Excuse me.
Oh, soon I get to come home from Blackpool, the better.
Are you still there, Dan?
Still that?
Yeah. It was
I thought you was home when I saw you did like a 4-minute video earlier.
No, that was out here. Like you can tell by the laptop at the moment, it's a bit of a mess and everything, and the noise on it is terrible. I just can't wait to get back to my bed. You know where you're just used to your bed. Yeah. I've had enough now. I want to go home and go to bed. Sounds terrible, I know, but
Dan, you're only up the road from me. I'm only in Oldham. Blackpool's only 45 minutes away from where I am.
It's not a bad area. It's quite down to earth. It's quite nice and everything. I just want to go back to my bed. I just want to go home. Yeah. Not so much the area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Creature comforts, isn't it, of your own place?
Yeah. You get used to your own stuff, don't you?
Yeah. Dan, how are you feeling about Tottenham?
At the moment, I must admit, take this back 4 days, and I think a majority of people would have agreed with me when I turned around and said, same Spurs, different day, same Spurs, different window. And then in a matter of 2 days, bang, bang, the whole world is turned 180 degrees, basically.
Yeah.
Especially the one with Morgan Gibbs White, because like that's 60 mil on the table there and then. You don't see many teams pull that off, least of all Spurs, like to pay that much there and then. And it's just,
so
and then you hear the excess that comes into it. You hear the other stuff that comes into it and everything, and that with the background money, and you know there's definitely some money involved because Levy and Spurs ain't spending that money. But the money they're spending ain't Spurs money at the minute, so they're not so bothered about it. And then obviously you get what happened today, which I just think Nottingham Forest just, I say it nicely, they're just being salty, and that's an understatement. And that one's going to go through. I mean, I've put £100 bet on my one, but if it don't go through because of anything, if it don't go through because of we done certain things wrong or whatever, someone singing.
It's not me. It's too good a voice for me.
I just thought I had someone singing. And if it don't go through because we got the paperwork wrong or we packed him up or whatever else, I said I'll put £100 in it. If it don't go through because City just walk in now and take him, no, then we deal with that. Forest are just being salty. At the moment, it's starting to look good, and I think it's a positive effect. Even if we do lose out on him, we know we've got the money and we're willing to spend it now. Things are definitely looking a lot more positive.
So for me, it's not just everybody's talking about the players, but it feels like the whole club, like over the last few days, I'm so excited about Morgan Gibbs White. He's a player who is going to get me off my seat. I can, and he's a player who I think will lift the club from that 8, who will sort of really drive us forwards. But it's the attention to detail that we're seeing all around the club, right? So like the video, one of the it may be some people might think it's boring, but I think it's going to make the biggest difference. The video we saw of Frank and Lang talking about the attention to detail with the coaches, right? The biggest problem that we had last year is I don't think they were coached properly, and now we've got a coach who is dedicated to set pieces. Hello, and starts. That's his title. Set pieces and starts. That's absolutely bonkers. This is the way that you win things. Is you give attention to every single detail to make sure that you get those little gains to get ahead, to get those goals, to stop the goals going in. It's not just about getting the players; it's about making them effective. And the whole club looks like it's all going in the right direction. I agree with you, Dan. It's just like the last 4 days. Last 4 days is like, where's my club gone? This is
making positive steps, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like we're actually walking forward. And I agree with what you said. I mean, coaching last season was just irrelevant, basically, because there wasn't any. And when you've got a manager with no coaches, it's not going to work. Alex Ferguson was not a good coach. He says it in his autobiography, but he was a brilliant manager. And what he always made do, this is how I want to play. I will now get the coaches to portray the way I want to play to give it to the players. Ange couldn't do that. We've now got a coach with his coaches as such, who can even get on there and portray his own way to do it as such without having to need everyone to do everything for him. We've now got his coaching staff on there. Why did we lose out on Nagelsmann? Because we wouldn't bring his coaches in with him, and other managers, coaches, whatever you want to call them as well. It's got a positive effect on it. And the other thing I like to that is, if he saw, this is one thing I kept saying about Ange. If Frank sorts out that defence, which I don't think is that hard to sort it out, to stop inverting the bloody wing backs and drop them back 10 yards, there's 25 goals less. There's another 20, 25 points on the table straight away. And I think that's half his problem sorted, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm really excited about that no one's talking about is Porro and Udogie staying wide and crossing the ball in, to 3 players in the middle, because you'll have those inside forwards plus Solanke or whoever else is the striker, not a desert, not a penalty area desert, or Johnson. Bless him. I agree with Mark on what he said about Johnson being an inside forward. He's a classic fox in the box, right? And yet we were just sticking him out on the touchline. No. He needs to be between the 6 yard box and the edge of the penalty area, running that little channel and getting on the end of crosses from either wing. And those crosses best come from overlapping fullbacks. That's the way that modern football works.
That's what we were saying earlier. The likes of having a midfield there of Maddison, even if he's slightly off the left, and Morgan gives White and Kudus, and then having the 2 fullbacks overlap and putting balls in. That's a scary thought.
What do you think?
Really is. I was going to bring you Musings in. Big up, buddy. How are you feeling about Spurs currently?
Yeah, I think we're on the right trajectory. I think I love the appointment of Frank. I think, don't get me wrong, like I was in the whole and sort of like love vibe, but really, when you come to think about it, you can't go 22 losses in the league and just sack off the league. Like, it's not fair on all the guys that come on a home game and watch that. And don't get me wrong, we're on a trophy at the end of it, but like you can't do that. So don't get me wrong. 2 days after he got sacked, I was like, "Yep, let's just move on." But I like what we're doing. I like what we're doing. And now with all this Saudi sort of talk, I couldn't care less that the money's coming in from Saudi. I couldn't care less at all. Like at the end of the day, all the other clubs are doing it. All the other big clubs are getting investments from other places. So let's just do it as well. If you can't beat them, just join them. And that's the way we've got to think. We're it's unheard of. I've never seen in my life as 42 years. I'm 42, but whatever. Like 38 years of being a Spurs fan from the age of 4 or 5 years old. I've never seen us sign players like Don't get me wrong. We need to get Gibbs White over the line, but I've never seen us sign two £50 million players back to back. We just don't do this.
No.
We don't do it. So this is obviously some sort of changing of intent from the club, which I want to see, which we've been crying out for since Levy's been taken over, really. So, it's good to see. Let's get Gibbs White over the line and add to it. Don't just stop there. Don't just stop at Gibbs White. Let's try and sign some more. Let's try to sign Wharton and then a solid. I think we're crying out in our team and a solid number 6. We haven't got a natural number 6 in our team. I don't feel personally. And if we sign that as well, I think we've got enough to cope with and to do something next season. Not maybe not obviously challenge for a league, but build upon that. And people are saying on this show, oh, I'm worried about the youngsters, the academy players. We're signing these other young players from other clubs and prospects. I don't really care. I don't really care about us signing these other young prospects from other teams and bringing them and challenging our academy players. That's the way it should be. That's the way a decent proper club functions. Is that we sign players that are young prospects from other teams and they challenge our academy players. And if the academy players aren't good enough to get to our first team, they're not good enough. That's the way that it is. It's a hard truth of football. And and it should be the way with our first team. And it's finally, what we're doing now. People are saying oh, we signed Kudus, we signed Gibbs White. What's going to happen to Kulusevski? What's going to happen to this? I couldn't care fucking less sorry for swearing. I couldn't care less what happens to those other players. If Kulu turns out not to cut the mustard, then that's his problem. If we are signing these players and they're displacing other players in the team, then that's a good thing. It's a good thing. We're going to have so many games next season that we're going to need.
We've been crying out for, isn't it?
What's that?
That's what we've been crying out for.
Exactly.
All last season we were moaning that when players were injured, we didn't have the players to come in with the quality. Now it looks like we're going to have the players with the quality to come in.
Yeah, exactly. Why are we complaining? We get Kudus, we got Gibbs White. It made the space for people like Madison, Kulusevski, Odebert, or any other player in those midfield ranks. They might go, oh shit, they're going to have to up their game. They up their game or just get displaced. That's the way it works. That's football. So
and if I can just add to this, wasn't this what the stadium was built for?
Exactly.
What we were promised right from the beginning. This would be the game changing. We're gonna be challenging. And whether Levy's to do with it, I don't care less. I don't care where the money's come from. I don't care. Whatever, we are getting the players in, and we're acting like a big club for the first time in years and years. This is why I've been to so many protests, because we don't act like a big club.
Yes. Sorry,
we don't act like a big club.
So musings. You may not care if we have youngsters who are brought through. I do care. I don't think there's anything better than one of our own coming through and actually becoming a superstar. I don't think there was anything better than Harry Kane being a one-season wonder who we accepted as one of our own. The biggest problem for me with this, if they're good enough, they'll break through philosophy, is that kids don't develop like this. Kids develop like this. Kids develop.
No.
Kids develop in steps, and they only develop when they're challenged. They only develop.
That's my point.
to the. Yeah,
That's my point.
Yeah. But the point is,
That's my point. They only develop when they're challenged.
Wait a minute.
If they're getting challenged by other people that are coming into the team, like other people that are young into the team, then they're getting challenged. They'll break through and be good enough. That's my point. That's my point. Is that, don't get me wrong, I want the youngsters to come through, and the one or two that are good enough to get through, fair play to them. Like Harry Kane, he's an anomaly to our academy system. He is an anomaly, and a few other people, how many other players from Harry Kane have come through the academy system that cut them off and done what Harry Kane done? There's not many.
Okay, let me answer you, right? I'll debunk what you're saying, right? You got a kid, okay? He's gone to trade academy. He's learned how to do plastering, right?
Yeah.
That he is not going to be as good as a plasterer who's 35 fucking years old. Sorry, he's 35 years old.
Yeah, fair.
Wait a minute. Let me say
I'm listening. I'm letting you speak.
You're interrupting me. You're not.
I said
let me say my piece.
I said fair. That's not me interrupting. I say fair. I agree with you.
He's not going to be as good as someone who's so far. He's also not going to be as good as someone who's 21, right, and who's already been doing it for a few years somewhere else, who's been brought in. But you never know unless he's given the opportunity to make a few mistakes, right, to learn from those mistakes and actually challenge himself to do a good job. Now, I'm still not finished. And it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same with footballers. If you send them off to a championship club, they'll reach the level of that championship club. That's what they will do. That's what kids will do. They won't become a superstar. Dan,
let me come back in. You finish and I'll come back in. So you finish. You finish the point.
They will never, a championship club, prove to anybody that they are a Premier League player. The only way they'll prove that they're a Premier League player is if they get Premier League minutes.
Absolutely fine. I kind of agree with you. They do need Premier League players. They need Premier League minutes at some point to prove themselves. I've got no doubt with that. That's the way you prove yourself in the game you're playing. But I want to counter that with players like Bergvall, Gray, and other youngsters that have been bought in from the club, and they've come in and they've challenged them. They haven't been proven in the Prem. They've come in and they've done it. If other players like them, like the youngsters that are coming through, were that good, they would be given the opportunities. I think that is the case. If they were that good, don't get me wrong. I think Mikey Moore could be one of the better players and go on to be I don't want to hype players and say that they're going to be world class, but I think he's got a good prospect to him, and but those sort of players, they need to be challenged. And if they get don't get me wrong, I want players that are from homegrown, I loved it when he came through, and but he learned his graft the hard way as well. Don't get me wrong, he got loaned out 4 or 5 times before he came in for first team. He learned the hard way, and that's probably the way
he failed every single loan. Every single loan.
Bollocks! If he failed every single loan,
on loan, he Spurs.
I wouldn't say he failed. Don't get me wrong. He learned what he had to do at those clubs. But I wouldn't say
he was shockingly bad at Millwall. Spurs wanted to get rid of him and only didn't get rid of him because Tim Sherwood wouldn't let him go.
And gave him Premier League minutes.
He was even rubbish at Norwich.
Yeah,
in the Premier League.
He actually says in his book that he was ready to quit at Leicester because he was constantly going out on loans and never got.
Oh, there was obviously something there for people to see to keep him there.
And he said
there was obviously something there.
He said he read Tom Brady's book about persisting, and that's what made him change his mind. And it was only Tim Sherwood giving him a chance to to prove Daniel Levy wrong.
Fair. Okay, fair.
This is the other thing.
Fair.
There is a natural bias to playing people who you've paid money for, rather than a kid who's come through the system. And Levy did that as well, Dan. Do you remember? Levy went to Sherwood and he went, play Soldado because I paid money for him.
On one point,
Soldado is shit, though. Come on, everyone saw that. Everyone saw how bad Soldado was. He stepped through the door. Come on, surely.
You said that if a player plays in the Championship, he'll only go up to the Championship style, yeah? I get where you're coming from with that. But now look on this a different side. You're playing in the Premier League, you're playing in Bundesliga, whatever. How do you spot a superstar? What you'd call a superstar player, a quality player. How do you spot him? Because he stands out in that team. Now, and that's in a big team. Now, if you go and put a player in a Championship team, if he's that good, he will stand out. Simple as that. No ifs or buts. If he is that good, he will stand out. He will go higher than that quality. Whereas if he's not ready or not great or whatever, he'll blend in quite nicely. And you'll say, okay, he's had a good game here or there. But if the player's genuinely that good, he will stand out whatever league he's in. And if he's good enough for the Premier League and would be good in the Premier League, he will definitely stand out in the Championship.
Yeah.
And that is like with problems with certain players that we brought in that looked all right in the Championship and they just don't look ready for the Premier League yet. It's so putting them in the Championship, I get where you're coming from. It's sort of like limited to the extent of what they're going to go through. But if they're that good, they will stand out. Same as a quality player stands out in the Premier League. A quality player stands out in La Liga. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah. And the prime example of that being is a player that was scouted properly, right, for numerous months. And I'll give you the perfect example, who didn't cost a lot of money. He stood out in his team week in, week out. Spurs went and got him. Dele Alli, £5 million. Came straight into the Spurs team a while ago that it was. And straight away, bang, we was all saying, look at this kid. Look at this kid. What is he doing?
You know what I mean?
They are out there. They've just got to be found. Dan, spot on. Yeah.
And then what you've got to do, I don't want to go into this debate, but it always comes up everywhere I go and the WhatsApps and that. Archie Gray is your prime example there. He's not ready for the Premier League yet. He needs more loan time. And even with Frank, he might see better coaching. He might get looked after better. But are you telling me that Archie Gray is going to get picked to go against Barcelona, against Juventus, against Inter Milan, against Bayern Munich, against Borussia Dortmund, Ajax? He's not even going to make that subs bench unless there's injuries. Is he going to make that game where he's got to play Liverpool, where we got to play even Man United, Man City? The only game time he's going to get is 10 minutes here or there. Or if there's major, he wouldn't have even seen 9 out of 10 of the games that he saw last season if he wasn't injured, if people weren't as injured as they were. What we need to do with something like that is what most big clubs do. Get the player in, get him when he's that young, get him out on loan for 2 seasons, season or 2 in the Championship, build up his body structure, build up his strength, because the Championship is probably one of the most physical, if not the physical league.
So Dan, is that what you did with Archie Gray? Because the difficulty is we spent 40 million on him, isn't it? That's the big thing. If we'd only spent 10 million, it wouldn't be an issue.
Exactly. But he has shown nowhere near progression that Bergvall has. Okay, he coped his players. He coped his positions. But he was 5th choice midfielder, for God's sake, in his own position. And then when we played him in his position, he got absolutely destroyed in every game.
Against Liverpool.
All right. I think age is on his side. I think because he's such a young player. I think
he needs to go on loan. Loan him out to improve it, because a game here or there is not going to do the player any favours. So stick him out at a loan at a Championship club. Say, right, part of the contract you have him, he plays 75% of the games come love nor money. That's what happens in them. Right, that gets signed. You know he's getting at least 30 games that season unless he has an injury. Whereas with you, i.e. Spurs, he's going to have an odd game here or there, an odd 10 minutes here or there, and then he's going to start a game when we're playing someone like Preston North End or something like that in a cup game. How is that going to progress a player?
Do you know what? I really wonder if we expect too much too young from a lot of these guys, right? I look at Kane, I look at Beckham, I look at a lot of these players, right? A lot of them didn't make it until they were 21, 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
Beckham was still out on loan to Preston North End at 21, 22, right? I reckon Dan's absolutely right. I reckon we think that at 18 they should be showing us that they're some sort of superstar. And like Steven Gerrard was a gangly kid at 18, 19. He didn't grow into his body until 21, 22. I think we expect too much too young, and we write them off too early as well. I do hope that some of our players, some of our academy, can supplement the great players that we're buying and learn from them. Learn from Morgan Gibbs White. Learn from Kudus. Learn from Kulu. Learn from Sonny. They're not gonna learn from a championship club, in my opinion, what they can learn from Bentancur, what they can learn from Romero, what they can learn from world class. Well, great player, great. Is Romero world class?
What do you learn more from then? Do you learn more from a book, or do you learn more from experience?
But I mean, there's experience on the training pitch as well as experience at
but training pitch doesn't count to actually playing a game, does it? Same as you can be fit, and then there's match fit. Two total different kettles of fish.
I think it's horses for courses, isn't it? It depends on each of them. But I do wonder if we send them out too young. I think we need to get them, building themselves up. But anyway, that was my take on the they're good enough. If they're good enough, they'll come through. I've seen no evidence of that. I think a lot.
I think the biggest problem is with youngsters is I think that it's a romantic notion to think that all our youngsters are going to succeed. Like, you'll be lucky if 2 or 3 even hit Premier League level, partly because there's not a pathway for them in the team, the way the club is structured, the way most Premier League clubs are structured, because of them cannot afford to rely on their young academy players to succeed in the Premier League in order to get trophies, etc. So obviously you can loan them out. Like I'm with Dan. I want Gray loaned out next season and playing 75% of his games as central midfield. Like, we have to do something like that with him, because I don't think he's ready either. Problem at Spurs is, because for years and years and years we bought for the future that's never come. Finally, now we're buying essentially ready-made players. These future that's never going to come players are not going to really get a game next season, I don't think. So you're going to have to loan a lot of them out. Like, I think I know someone mentioned Odegaard earlier, but I think his game time's kind of under massive question mark now, because, I mean, 2 of the players we're going to sign or signed kind of playing his positions. So, and we dropped quite big money on Gray and Odegaard. So I think it's quite complicated. I don't think it's quite clear cut. Like, I love it if one of our youngsters came through and succeeded, like another Harry Kane and stuff, but I think it's quite unlikely. I just think it's just not the way the club is structured, the way most Premier League clubs are structured, because they can't afford to do it. I mean, Chelsea use their academy to basically make money to buy better players, pretty much. So,
I mean,
yeah,
even Liverpool,
I love it to happen, but I just don't think it's realistic.
Even Liverpool are looking to sell Elliott, right? And you would say that Elliott, he stood out for the under-21s. He was definitely a first-team squad player, and yet they're looking to sell him. It does feel a bit. I don't know. I've got a lot of question marks, but I just wanted to say.
I just don't think that. I think it's quite a romantic notion to think the academy players of Premier League clubs will come through and always be like a top player. I think it's quite a romantic notion. Whilst I'd love it to happen and be like a reality, the reality is you might get 1 or 2 realistically in every few years, rather than like 5, 6 or 7 even. I think it's partly because of the way the clubs are structured, and also because they might not be good enough. I mean, a lot of academy players, they might play a few first team games, and then you realise oh, he's like, I don't know, League One level or something. You know, it's just the reality of it.
I mean, look at it a different way, yeah? Let's just be realistic to this. Not just football, but let's just be realistic to the world here, yeah? I know people got different views on it, but it's a dog-eat-dog world. You don't get to the top through being nice. You don't get to the top through doing what's right for society as such.
100%.
You don't get to the top by these boys deserve a chance. Yeah, same as Ange deserved a chance. Yeah, let's all get sentimental at Spurs. Same as Son deserves another year on his contract for what he's done for us. No, dog eat dog world. You want to get to the top, you got to get the best. And if that means some of the youth lot have to miss out on it because you want to get to the top, you ain't winning that title or winning that cup because you're getting all your little youths in and everything every game and giving them a chance. You ain't going to get to the top by keeping players that are on the way down, like Son, who's been brilliant for us, but he's on the way down now. He's got to go. If you want to get to the top, you've got to be ruthless. If that young player is good enough for that first team and 75 grand, then he gets judged as all the rest. You give him a little bit of leeway on experience. And if you want to get to the top, you've got to get the best. You want to get to the top, you've got to be cold, ruthless. Not like a lot of us are at Spurs, as in sentimental loving, basically. That has been one of our biggest problems, in my opinion.
And going back to the best of the best, who was mentioned earlier, Fergie was one of the most ruthless managers you've ever. If there was a player who we thought was even slightly on the down, he got rid of him.
He was gone.
Yeah.
So you want Spurs to get to the top, then it's all good wanting these young players to come through. Yeah, it looks pretty. We want that. But let's be realistic now. You are not going to win a cup or a title or whatever with a bunch of young kids in there. Man U done it. That was a freak show. You are never going to get a Man U again, especially in this time and society as well, because you do not get the same amount of time to do it either. So if you either want your youth lot and do it the nice way, which will probably never happen, because every time they start getting good and you're not winning anything, someone else will just come in and say, thank you, come again. And with that, it's just the fact of, so you've got to buy the players that are ready for now and slowly but surely get the younger players ready. What do you want to do? Do you want to be at the top, or do you just want to be nice and do it the nice way? That's just to anyone.
Yeah, and looking at it, you look at Brentford now, right? And like we've stolen, their whole backroom staff, and they're getting torn to shreds. I look at Brentford. I've heard so many people talking, about. I look at Brentford and I wonder, are Brentford accepting that they're just going to go down this season? Because it just feels like everything's happening to them, and they're not doing anything about it. They're not doing damn what you're talking about. They're in a dog eat dog world. You have to be ruthless. You have to stand up for yourself. I do look at. I know this is the Spurs, but I do look at Brentford right now and wonder: are they just accepting that? Are they just accepting their fate, basically?
No, yeah. I agree with Brentford. I think they're really going to struggle this season, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Cookie, what are you thinking, mate? Like, what are you talking about? You're muted, buddy. You're muted, mate.
I disappeared for 2 or 3 minutes, Nigel, so I don't know if you changed what you were talking about. Sorry.
I don't know. Let's change the subject. Let's talk about
if we go back to the money thing, the investment thing, something that nobody else I've heard talk about either is the fact that very recently, Levy or whoever's doing it got an agreement that they would double the number of non-football events, concerts that they would have at our stadium. I think there's so many things that are going on around Tottenham Hotspur Football Club right now. If they're going to be, 30 events they're now going to have at the stadium. They're doing all this property development. It screams out to me that we're getting sold.
100%. We're getting sold. 100%. But all that extra income is coming in the Saudis are realizing that the Newcastle investment that we've got, that they've done, is like, hang on a sec, we can't invest as much as we want to take over like this particular part of the game, like in England. And now look at Spurs. They've got everything in place. The boxing, I was there for the Eubank fight, and the Saudis were funding it, and it was like, look, hang on a sec, like they've seen the potential of this club, and they're like, hang on a sec, we want a part of this. This is the way we can get our money into it without all the restrictions they have on Newcastle. 100%. That's the way I feel, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the major things, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Bring on the Aramco Arena, whatever it is. I'm all for it. I can. It'll always be White Hart. I always still call it White Hart Lane. It'll always be White Hart Lane to me. But you know, they can call it whatever they want. They can come in.
Let's end on a question, because I said I'd go for 2 hours. So let's end on a question for everyone, and it is literally because so many people are saying that they want to win trophies the natural way, the organic way, you know, the proper way, I guess. Would you take this massive investment and be in a Chelsea or Man City just to see us win a title? Would you all be happy with that, or would you rather see us doing it the normal way?
100%.
Yes.
100%,
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care how we
I know
do
it's a silly question, isn't it? But
money's money.
It's not actually a
It
silly
all gets
question.
circulated around. I don't think
find-
people get so annoyed about the money getting circulated around. That it's oil money or whatever. Money gets circulated around. By the time in like 50 years' time, the money that we've earned has been raped, pillaged, and whatever in other countries. So money just gets circulated. So people getting annoyed about oil money coming in. It makes no sense in my head. It just
This is
weird.
our
I'd
fan
rather
base.
see us with a title now with the money that's coming in.
But you'll have a lot of the fan base sit there and say all of a sudden they've been grilling Daniel Levy for how long and they want change. Oh no, but I don't want oil money. I don't want blood money. I don't want this. I don't want that. I want us to do it the right way. I want us to do it, mate. I don't care if the money comes from bloody Colombia from the clouds and gets dropped by helicopters, for God's sake, yeah?
100%.
As long as it gets spent on the football, I could not give a monkey's.
Yeah.
Look, with the other teams cheating and stuff like that, as they do, like Chelsea, they're cheating for a reason. Why? Because it takes them further up there and it wins them things.
They can get away with it. That's what it is. They can
I've
get
got
away
the
with
attitude of, if you can't beat them, join them.
Exactly.
yeah, I agree totally. How you feeling, Haz? What about you?
Well, I don't really care. I mean, we'll be trying to do it the right way for how many years, and it's not worked anyway. So for me, give me that oil money and let's just win the title. I don't care.
Yeah,
as long as
I
we win the
agree.
title, I don't care. So
I agree. Cookie?
Yeah, just get the investment in, man. At the end of the day, we're football supporters and we want to win some trophies, see some nice football, see the best players playing for our football club. So if that's the way they're going to go and they're going to start spending a few quid, then good luck to them, mate. Good luck to them. Let's hope they put the money in the right direction and get the right players in. I don't think it'll necessarily happen like that we're just going to buy for the next, however long. It might only be short term, we're used to things happening like that at Tottenham. But investment's good, mate. At the end of the day, if they're getting money in from Saudi or America or wherever it's coming from, then and as long as it's we've all asked for that, a big chunk of it is invested into the team, into players to get better quality players, then I think we'll all be happy at the end of the day.
100%. The other point is with it is a lot of people, I mean, we all got different opinions, but what I've been screaming for a long time is I want quality, not quantity. Yeah. You know what? Give me a transfer window where I get 2 players, and maybe a little one for the subs bet or whatever else that you're going to put out on loan. Go spend 50 million on each player. Get me 2 players that get into that first team. You know what? Gets to the January window. If we need a backup player, do it. Right. Next transfer window, summer. Get me 2 quality players in there again, and then maybe a backup player, whatever.
Well, Dan,
that's how you make your team better. I want quality, not quantity.
Kudos. and Gibbs White. Is that the two quality signings you're talking about?
That's two players that walk into our first team.
Exactly.
But what did Ange get? He got between 4 to 6 players that walked in the first team.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
maybe I want to see more. But
Yeah.
if you would have given me the option at the start of this, I think we knew Tell was coming. He just had to agree to it. Danzo was coming. We knew that. If you'd have given me the option now of take Kudus and Morgan Gibbs White and that's your transfer window over, job done. But now I've seen this and now I'm getting a bit greedy. I want a bit more because it looks
100%.
like we can do more because we can still sell. But if you'd have given me this option at the start of the window, I'm a happy man. But now I want to see more.
Definitely.
But what isn't there like a lot of talk before that we could spend like upwards of 200 million without breaking FFP or something?
I think it's like 300 or 400 million. I think it's more than that.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely nuts how much you can spend without getting burnt. I think it's actually nuts.
And that's what Musings was saying about Newcastle. See, because Saudi are in, they're all in at Newcastle, but they ain't got a pot to pick. You know, they've got the money, but they can't spend it.
They can't spend it because of the limited revenue that they make. They can't spend the money that we can spend. They can't do it because they haven't got the revenue coming in. We've got the revenue coming in, so we've actually invested in the wrong team here. That's what's happened. That's exactly what's happened. And I think what you'll see with Spurs is that, I think eventually maybe the Saudis just buy us out outright over the next 5 to 10 years. I think that's probably what you may see, like a gradual takeover rather than just like an immediate one, because I think they'll just realise, it does make sense. It does make sense. I think that's the sort of thing you're going to see because
to buy us, it's like 4 billion up front, isn't it? And you ain't going to get exactly. Pay that up front.
Exactly. It's not going to happen.
And the back of the sofa.
You know what I mean? Under the bed.
So does this mean that I know Mark mentioned it before briefly. Does it mean that the protest actually made a difference? I know because I was going to them. That's the only reason I'm asking. But do you guys think they made a difference?
I spoke about this earlier. Yeah. Now I went to that third protest and everything up there. I think I saw you up there, didn't I? Yeah. I think I saw you as well, Mark, didn't I?
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be deadly honest, I think those protests were more plastic than people realised. And what I mean by that is, I think you're going to see it on the next protests on how easy this fan base is. I think there was an amount there who was there for the right reasons. I can name certain people who were there for the right reasons. I can speak for myself. I was there because I wanted Levy out, because I want change it, because I wanted Levy out. I think the thing that a few other people didn't see and some did see, it's just where it was the moment of being 15th, 16th, whatever, and that, and Ange was doing that bad, and we hadn't won a cup yet and everything, and so many people wanted Ange out, and so many people were screaming Levy out because of where we were. How many were actually at that protests because it was Levy out, hardcore, and how many was actually there because they was just goddamn pissed off that we was in 15th and wanted Ange out? That is where the next protests are going to show. If you don't get 2,000, 3,000 turn up to the next protests, to me, that's just going to show that a high majority was there because they wanted Ange out and because they were so frustrated. But then you're still going to see the regulars there for the Levy out. But then for me, that's already 70% cut off of it. And then with the bit on top of it is how easily satisfied this fan base is in a lot of ways. Well, what has Levy done in the past year and a half? He's done what a lot of fans have asked. He got an attacking manager in, or well, so-called, like to call himself attacking. Backed him up with 400 million. First transfer window, backed him up. After that, not so good. Stuck by him through the season. Stuck flying through the bad season. Stuck with him through the cups. Let him to the cup final. Let him win the cup final. Then got rid of the poor manager. Then got in a better manager. And also is obviously backing him up, whether it's his money or not. And we got a cup out of him. A lot of people are going to look at it like that and forget the past 25 years and just look at what's he done for us now. And they're going to be, well, we just got a cup. We just got the new manager. We just bought Morgan Gibbs White because he is coming to us. We just got Kudus, and it looks like we're going to do more. I think you're going to see 75% of that protest disappear. I hope I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people were there on pure frustration more than people there for hardcore Levy out, like Brian, Stell, Has, me, Mark, and I can vouch for quite a few others. But I just think there was a lot of frustration there more than there actually was Levy out there. But that's just an opinion, and I hope I'm wrong.
I agree. I put my 5 pence in because I was there as well, and for me, I'm not necessarily Levy has to go. I really wanted Levy to change his ways, and what I'm seeing is the club changing their ways. Whether that's Levy or not, I don't know. But I'm just pleased that Spurs seem to be moving differently this summer, and I agree. I think the protest now. I think if we were to bring in a number 6 and a left back or someone like that, and Morgan Gibbs White signs, I think the protest stops for at least a couple of months. You know, obviously, if Frank starts slowly, they might start again. But the way it is at the moment, if we keep signing players that get straight into that first team, I don't see it. I don't see how the protest continues.
I meant, as in, do you think the protest made the difference in terms of pushing the club to act in a different way? If that makes sense.
No. I think it made no difference.
You don't think so? Okay. Because like there's rumours of Levy stepping aside and stuff as well. Like I don't know how true that is. But
now these protests, they needed to get bigger, yeah, and they were starting to do it. And to actually do a real protest and for actually to bother Levy, I've got to watch how I say this. You got to become a problem. Yeah, you got to become an issue.
I think
start hurting someone in their way. Are you telling me that Daniel Levy was that bothered about 2,000 Spurs fans marching up the road saying we want Levy out because we love Kulusevski, for God's sake? I very much doubt.
The only way, so let me just say, the only way that Levy would have got bothered is that the amount of people that turned out for the trophy parade turned out for a protest. This way, they'll be like, "Oh shit, we need to do something." That's the only way it's going to happen.
10,000 people up the road. 5,000.
I don't think it would even matter. I think more than that. I think 100,000 people would come out of the stadium. I think they'll be like, "Fuck, we need to do something."
Yeah,
I think 10,000 people. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough to leave it to even to think about.
10,000 people turned over Man United just because they had their shirt done. 10,000 turned up, said no one's going to the game, and that we ain't going to the game. Bang! Next thing you know, shirt gets done.
But
5,000 Arsenal supporters down the road. Yeah, I know, but how do you hurt someone like that?
He wouldn't care. He wouldn't care. He wouldn't care.
And half the people going on about this is one that gets me a bit. Going on about don't pay Levy, don't do this, don't do that. Half of them have got season tickets, for God's sake.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I don't. I'm not going to entertain the. I'm a season ticket holder, and I'm not giving it up for Daniel Levy or anything. But I don't think I was on the first. I was at the first 2 protests. I didn't make the last one. And I'm sorry. I don't know you. And Nige. I'm with you. I think he needs to be a chairman, not a CEO. That's what. And I think the biggest problem now is that looks exactly like what they are doing. It looks like he is going to be the chairman of the Tottenham Group, and he can go and do his financing and his property investment and whatever else he's doing, which
he's brilliant at as well.
Exactly, and he can let Vinay, Lange, Paratici, whoever, do what they do best and actually deliver. I think
what he's done is what he's done at Spurs. He increased the portfolio with Spurs, and that's what he's done. With it, he's shown that what he can do is what he's done at Spurs. He's increased the club that we are, but he's not a footballing guy. Everyone can see that. So it's exactly what he said. It's exactly what he said. He should move away from footballing terms and let someone else deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah, he's turned a £50 million asset into a £4 billion asset.
Exactly.
But I think I love Kulusevski. Kulusevski loves me chance in the stadium had more effect. Would have had more effect on Daniel Levy and a push to do the right thing than protests outside the stadium.
Yeah, you're right. It's 2,000 people outside of the stadium chanting Levy out, whereas 60,000 people in the stadium singing the chant you just said. So of course it's going to make a bit of a difference. When he's sitting in there with a stadium with all those people singing that Kulusevski chant, it's going to affect him more than he's going to ignore the chants outside of the stadium.
Exactly.
Unless it's 60,000 people outside of the stadium chanting that Kulusevski,
nice.
he's not going to care.
You don't get noticed walking up the road, skipping, holding hands, singing about we don't like Daniel Levy, but we love Kulusevski. I mean, why don't I just get a rainbow out and everything else and, I don't know, jump on a unicorn and fly or whatever? You're not going to get noticed like that. You got to become an issue. You got to become a bit, all right, there's a lot you can't do. But for God's sake, make it known that you're pissed off, for God's sake.
Yeah. Well,
not walking up the road holding hands saying how you love Kulusevski but dislike Daniel Levy.
I don't think we should discount.
It's my opinion.
Yeah, but I don't think we should discount people who don't want to be aggressive about it, sort of showing support for the people who are going to go to the next level. I thought the sit-in at the first one as well, which was well covered by the media, and I'm not in the South Stand, I'm in Paxton, so I'm nowhere near it. I thought that was brilliant. It was so well delivered, and my hat goes off to the people who organised that, because that, Dan, was creating a problem and was creating a noticeable difference to standing outside and being ignored, unfortunately.
But until something happens inside, I mean, it's like when people preach at me about don't spend the money in the stadium, don't put money into the club, don't buy shirts, and then they tell me they got a season ticket. I've sort of got the attitude of, well, practice what you preach then, because to me it's contradicting yourself. I get the point of why should I go without watching my team play because of this, but then you can't really do that and then preach at people about don't put no money into Daniel Levy, don't go buying no shirts, don't go doing anything to do with Tottenham, don't go in there and buy a beer, don't go in there and do this, don't spend the money on oh yeah, but go and spend $1,500 on the season ticket. Practice what you preach.
So you don't think I should buy a season ticket if I don't want
to be
the chairman?
I'm not you. It's totally up to you what you do, and I can understand, not just get it, why people do it and that. Yeah, why should I go without watching my club play because of Daniel Levy? But then when you sit there, not you, but people in general sit there and preach about, I am not putting a penny into this club while Daniel Levy is here. I am not doing this while Daniel Levy is here. You want to hurt him, hurt his pocket. Do this, do that. Don't spend this, and then go spend $1,500, $2,000 on my season ticket. It sort of contradicts the thing, doesn't it?
So it's so difficult, though, isn't it? Because I get both sides.
I do.
And if you're a season ticket holder and you're selling your ticket every week because you're fed up with going, I get it. And I get the season ticket holders don't want to lose their season ticket because then they might not get another season ticket for however many years it takes.
To me 15, 20 years to get one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally get it. It's so difficult, isn't it? But
I'm glad you have kept your season ticket now, mate, because hopefully you're going to see a bit of change.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to see a bit of good football on the pitch, man. So, that's what I champion really more than anything else. I don't go. I've never been, and it seems like a long time, but since Levy took over, I've never been. Because the day they took over, they said they was here to make money. And that told me everything. It told me everything about what they was doing. So it's fair enough what they've done. I understand what they've done, building the ground over the time, and everything that he's doing, like Dan says, as a businessman. I get all that. But this fella should have stepped back from the football a long time ago. And if he'd have done that and carried on doing what he was doing, building his empire, and left the football to other people, I think we'd be in a different position to what we're in now.
Mark, the way you've just put that is good, because you've actually, while you've gone through that, you've actually acknowledged him as well. This is another problem, personal opinion again, which I don't think helps protests and everything else. When it just blatantly looks like a blind hate group, the people on the fence as such, who don't know the full story, start looking at it and just thinking, no matter what this fella does, he gets grilled. If we actually want to sit it down and be serious about this one, You can name up some serious positives that Daniel Levy has done for Spurs.
No,
The only
no.
reason any one of us have the right to sit here and say we should be buying players like Kudus for 55 million, we should be paying 60 million, 70 million for players, is purely because of Daniel Levy. The only reason we have a stadium, the only reason we have training facilities, the only reason we have the right to call ourselves a top 6 club when it's never won nothing, bar 2 cups in the past bloody 25 years or 15 years, whatever it is, is because of Daniel Levy. The only reason we are the 7th, 8th biggest club on this planet is because of Daniel Levy. Now, if we want to add stuff up, he has done positive for the club. It's just when it comes to the football side, he's been bloody useless to an extent. Basically been bloody useless. So if you want to weigh it up, if people are just going to slate him 24/7, I get it. I want him gone because the negatives outweigh the positives. But if you want to just try and be fair, I know it's not all about being fair, but you want to make people show that you're not just blind hate to a person, you've got to acknowledge the positive as well. I couldn't stand Ange as manager. I think he was absolutely shockingly bad. That one of the worst I've ever seen in the Premier League. But I will sit here and say fair play on won the cup. Fair play. The big decision he made, keeping Son out, well done. Credit where it's due. But you're still not good enough. I wanted you gone. So if you just sit there and slate a player consistently, like I will do with Johnson, because I think he's crap, apart from tapping in goals. But I will still acknowledge and say, do you know what? Fair play, mate. You banged in 20 goals when you also had pressure on the back here as well. Your 20 goals could have stopped us getting relegated, basically. But then I'm still going to turn around and slate him because I think he's crap as a player in general. So if you want people to see it and get people on your side on protests, instead of just having it blind hate, you've got to acknowledge both sides. And I find there's too many people out there that will just look on the hate, not acknowledge anything positive, even though there is a lot more negative than positive. And then even when something good happens, they will still find a way to slam him into the bloody ground. And then it just looks like blind hatred. And then that's when people on the fence just think, no. You've got to be seen to see it from both sides for some people to take you seriously. That's just my opinion.
You're right.
I mean, what Lord Rodney said about us getting the Kudos deal done is absolutely spot on. And you could say the same for the Morgan Gibbs White deal. That's what was so great. That's what's been so okay. Nottingham Forest are trying to put some brakes on it. Fair dues. They can do what they want to do. But the fact that we just went in and just went bosh, that's not the way that we behaved, and it is the way we should behave because we have got money. We've got I've actually got one of the cheapest season tickets, but our season tickets in general are the most expensive in Europe, and there's 40 odd thousand of us. We make so much money, our club, so we should be able to go in and go, Nottingham Forest, we're going to have your best player.
But I think another thing, there was rumours a few weeks ago that we were going to target players between 23 and 27. So in other words, more established players than normal. Because normally we buy, 21. Obviously, last time we bought so many 18, 19-year-olds, right? Because obviously the transfer policy has always been buy young and sell high. Now, the players we've signed are way more established. We know they're going to come in, they're going to walk straight into the team and make an impact straight away. This is not the Tottenham I've seen for the past 20 years, basically under Levy. So
Premier League proven proven. Where's this come from?
Yeah. My biggest issue was always being the transfer policy itself, which was really came back to Levy. He ran the policy. I didn't really, because I know Dan obviously bigged up the positives about he's generated tons of money for the club. We are a bigger club in terms of revenue because of Levy. You can't discredit that. But obviously, as football fans, we're always going to look at the football, right? So I'm not going to really care as much about that sort of thing. I'll be like, okay, that's great. But what's going on the pitch? So, now we're
But you can still acknowledge it.
With the transfer policy. So, sorry?
You can still acknowledge it, though.
Yeah.
Like you just did.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you don't care about that side so much, but then we are probably one of the only one of 3 or 4 only clubs that can actually support themselves without having to win a single thing, sell a single thing, or do anything and live off our own bloody revenue. How many other clubs on the planet can actually do that? Again, you can thank Mr. Levy for that one. But on the sports side, what we want the football. No, he's got to go because he is not a good football chairman. But if I took over at Spurs, I'd quite happily say to him, I will happily employ you. You just ain't going near my football. You can stay on that side and sort that crap out. And it's like Brian in the chat, even he said it yesterday. And it's you got to be more like him in that aspect, in the aspect of he can't stand the fella. We all know that. But he sits there and says the words same as I do and a couple of others. You've got to give credit where it's due. If you just show blind hate, then people just turn a blind eye to it after a while because it's just blind hate. When people question you with, but what about he's done that? I don't care. I just want foot. It looks quite narrow-minded. When you sit there and acknowledge it and say, he has done that, fair play to him, but I need to see this and this. It looks like you've got an open mind. When you just look narrow-minded, people don't really take people seriously, in my opinion. You got to give credit when it's due at the end of the day. And Brian's one of the first ones to always say that as well.
Yeah.
Because it looks like now the transfer policy might be changing. It might be changing. So that was my issue.
It's changed. It's changed already.
Is this to do with Levy, though? Is this to do with Levy, or is it because Levy stepping aside?
It's got to do with the investment. It's got to do with
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not at the club. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But why is it when we go and, like, I can only go back with having Ange recently and players now. Why is it we go and get Telwin, everybody slams Daniel Levy? Totally slams into pieces. That's a club buy. It's crap. Why is it when we go and get certain other buyers, players? That's the manager. That's the manager. I tell you what, it was Frank who purely done the job for Kudus and Morgan Gibbs White, wasn't it? 100% Frank, wasn't it? Had nothing to do with Daniel Levy, but tell where no one's excited about it. That's Daniel Levy. Top prick. Can't do it. Get him out. Oh no, but these two, it's purely down to Thomas Frank, isn't it?
I think a little bit of it
makes
the old
look narrow-minded.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's got nothing to do with it, but you can't just say it's Daniel Levy 100% and nothing to do with the manager for the shit players we get, and then turn around and say it's purely down to the player, to the coach, because of the good one.
We did exactly the same with Ange, didn't we?
That's what I'm saying.
As soon as we win the cup, it's the players. It's nothing to do with Ange.
I think a little bit.
What we do as a fan base.
You can is the old. You can die a hero or live long enough to be a villain. And Levy has been around long enough that we've all got our beef. We've all got our breaking points. I always remember Brian his breaking point was Yol at halftime. And we've all got those breaking points. And once you have those breaking points, once you lose that trust, right, it's almost impossible to get back.
But again, a lot of people have different thoughts to it and sides to it. But I think a lot of people look on it the same way I do, as in the pyramid effect as such, It starts at the top, dribbles its way down, So if it does that, then if Ange goes and wins that cup, which he did, then you've also got to give Daniel Levy a bit of credit for it as well then, because Daniel Levy hired him. If Daniel Levy gets all the stick because he hires this manager that don't work, that manager that don't work, he don't stick by that manager, he don't do this, all of a sudden we go and win a cup because he actually stuck by the manager, whether he wanted to or not is a different story, but he stuck by him. Oh no, that's got nothing to do with Daniel Levy, he's just a dickhead. Well, hang on a minute. You were just a minute ago saying that Ange was absolutely shocking and everything, and he had to go and that. And in a matter of 98 minutes, that's being nice, but 98 minutes, a high majority of the fan base totally just twisted on it. And my God, he don't stink sort of thing. He's the best thing since sliced bread. So again, if the bad signings are all down to Daniel Levy, 100% down to him, nothing to do with the manager, then the good signings are 100% down to Daniel Levy and nothing to do with the manager. Otherwise, you contradict yourself again. That's not you in particular. That's just anyone.
The problem is that someone's going to come back to you and go, yeah, but he sacked Jose, right? And, but we had this problem. The problem is there's too much history for us for you to bake down one particular, a couple of good decisions because
I agree
because he's as human as the rest of us, right? And he makes as
but
many.
You still
mistakes.
got to acknowledge it. You still got to acknowledge it. If you're going to slam him for every single thing at the club, then you've also got to give him credit for the positives as well. If it all starts at the top, then it ends at the top. The majority is he's got to go. But then there has been positive things he's done. And no matter what happens, he just gets absolutely slammed for everything. And like I say, I'm not meaning to stick up for him. I just try and be a bit more open-minded and weigh up both sides. Even if I don't agree with what you're saying, I try and at least get your point. And I think a lot of people don't even try and get the point that there has been some positive of him. And if you want to slam him for everything, then when we go and do these two players like we just did, then you've got to give him credit for it. If it's his fault,
I think 100% right,
players.
Dan. I think 100% right, Dan. I think everyone, like when it came to the last season, everyone, including myself included, was saying sack Ange. We're losing sack Ange. Even I was like, sack Ange. Is that going nowhere? But Levy was like, you know what? He may just win us the cup that we need for this club. Let me just stick with him. That's what Levy done. I think exactly what Levy done. He was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick here for 1 sec and just stick with the manager and let's try and win this. And maybe it was a bit of, look, if he fails, it's on him. But if he wins, it's also like, look, I've stuck with him. So look, but if he sacked him,
you've got to give some credit where due, innit? So you've got to
exactly. Like everyone was calling out, myself included, was like, just sack the guy. He's going nowhere. Like we are losing game after game. Like game after game in the league. Yes, we are maybe winning the games in Europa, but like it doesn't matter. Like we're losing. We are so shit. And like, but he was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just stick with him. I'll just stick with him and see what happens.
Whatever the reason was,
the outcome is.
Whatever the reason was, he did it. And the point I just made is if you are going to slam a player or a person or whatever constantly for something, then when they do something right, you can't just say, oh, no, that's down to the manager and the player. That's
you're right.
Every time something goes wrong, it's 100% down to him. So if you're going to put it 100% on Daniel Levy that everything goes wrong, then everything that goes right, you've got to go 100% on Daniel Levy. Otherwise, you're totally contradicting yourself, and nobody.
We do it all the time.
You're right.
We do it all the time.
By the way,
as a fan base, we do it all the time. Look at Brendan Johnson. Oh, he's crap. Yeah, but he scored 20 odd G8. Yeah, but they're all tap-ins.
Johnson again, ole. Johnson again, ole. I was fucking there, mate. I fucking loved it. I was singing that all the time, mate. I was singing that all the way through the fucking tournament.
At the parade, that was on repeat. It was just so.
In Bilbao, it was on repeat. In the whole of Bilbao, everyone was singing it all together, mate. Absolutely nuts. But yeah,
Can I just jump in 1 sec? Just say one thing. I've just checked the YouTube. Nige is flying tonight. You've got 100 people in here, right? 16 likes away from 100, which I'm sure Nige will be, over the moon with. If 13 more people can subscribe to Nige's channel tonight, he will hit 800. So that'll be a fantastic achievement for Nige. So please keep subscribing to him. Keep it in the like button. Thank you.
Yeah, smash the likes, people.
And make sure you subscribe to the Two Marks Show as well, because they do so much work. And the trouble is, when we stream on one channel, it's so hard to get the other channel to get subscribers. So guys, just pop over there and hit that subscribe button. The same with the Hotspur Hood, the same with Hasbro's TV. We all work hard to try and get our subs up and try and get good content out to you. So yeah,
it's not as easy as some people think. Some people think it's easy. It's really not. And even doing this, when you do too much of it, drains you is an understatement. It's not as easy as going down the pub and having a few beers and chatting to your mate. For some reason, actually doing this is more mentally draining.
Yeah,
100%.
Maybe it's just talking about Spurs so much. It could drain anything, but.
No, it makes you want to kill yourself talking about Spurs so much, mate.
I don't know about that. I think that's a bit OTT. I think that's just a little bit OTT. I mean, whatever term
Champions
you
League
want,
final, Champions League final at the stadium. I was pretty distraught, mate. I was pretty distraught when we lost the Champions League final, mate.
Yeah, but mate, I weren't getting no rope out for it, for God's sake.
Nah, of course not, of course not, of course not. I am joking. I'm jesting.
I've got to say though, since I started my channel, I've never drunk so much.
Johnson's like an interesting case though, because like someone like me, and I know Dan, like I don't really rate Johnson as a player, but I can't sit here and say he didn't improve from the season before, like because he was missing like sitters. He was missing sitters the season before, and at least last season we were putting them in. Like I don't rate him, but at least he was bloody scoring the goals. I don't think
he put it in at the most important time of our fucking histories. Like at that point, he put it in. Maybe he put it in. You know, it's questionable, but he was there to try to have it in.
So I think
you're not playing him to his best, but
I think
he scored 20 goals, and I think he's a terrible player.
I think Nigel's bang on.
Rate him.
What we saw last year was the best and the worst of Brennan Johnson. We saw him doing his little joggy thing, which is so freaking annoying, by the way. His little joggy thing, which says I'm making an effort. No, you're not, mate. You can make more of an effort than that, right? Right? And not tracking back properly because that's not his game.
The slowest, quicker player I have ever seen play football.
Exactly.
He can't cross. He can't pass. He can't dribble. He's got no strength on him. He can't. The only thing he can do is get in that position and tap it in, but it counts.
And do you know what? Gary Lineker was exactly the same type of player, right? And we loved him.
No, I can't agree with that. I can't agree. He had a bit more about him, Gary Lineker. You can't say that. Come on, man. You can't say that. You can't say Gary Lineker was the same as Brennan Johnson. Surely not. Surely not. At least he was an out-and-out striker. Like an out striker. Like you can't say Brennan Johnson was comparable to like Gary Lineker and that they were the same. Nah, surely someone's got to back me up on this. Surely someone's got to back me up on this.
It was a different time. It was a different time, but he was just a tap-in merchant, and he was brilliant at it.
But a striker can do that.
Fantastic.
A striker.
A striker is different. It's different. He wasn't just a tap. I don't know. I don't know.
That's what Johnson is, isn't it? Isn't Johnson a striker?
He's a shadow.
No, second striker. Second striker.
He's not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder.
I mean, same position Dele used to play, like just in that little pocket.
I think the better way you can look on Johnson, again, this is opinion, yeah. Put him and Solanke together up front, and for me, you've got a poor man's Heskey and Owen. Yeah, I'm not saying either. That's why I say a poor man's, because Solanke is crap compared to. I mean, Heskey as a target man was quality. He was that muscle up there, everything that Owen didn't have, and everything that Owen had, Heskey didn't have, and that's why they linked up well as a team, and that's why you put the target man there with your little fox there, basically. Yeah. Now, do I think he can do that? I mean, personally, I'd get rid of him all day long. I think he is a shockingly poor player. It's just he can get in that place and tap in that goal. Who cares whether it was 30 yards out or 2 yards out? As long as it scores the goal and wins the cup, or scores the goal and wins the game, that's all that matters. But if you want to progress, you need better players than him. And he cannot play on that wing come love nor money. And his other problem is he scores his tap in, and then he evaporates, basically, and you don't see him for 90 minutes. There's two players that can do that. A striker and a goalkeeper. They can go that whole game not noticed. But as long as they're there to put it in the back of the net when it matters, or there to save that goal when it matters, that's fine. Everyone else on the pitch, though, needs to be working. They need to be noticed. And Johnson is just... I think he's awful. I'm sorry.
I think Johnson's going to be found out next season. I think it's make or break for him. I think Frank will test him. I think he's not going to get away with just being a tapping merchant. I think Frank will want more of him. And if he doesn't produce, he'll get dropped. I think that's what's
he wanted to Brentford, didn't he? Or he was one of the players.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If he doesn't produce in Frank's system, then if he doesn't do
I'm not saying he won't be sold. I'm just saying he's definitely going to be playing a lot more than people think. I think because especially if Frank plays like a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 or three at the back, I think Johnson's not a shoo-in, but I think it's very likely he's going to play.
And if he doesn't perform, he'll get booted out. I think.
Yeah, we've got loads of options that can play in those positions.
Exactly.
We've got options now, haven't we? Which is the thing.
Yeah, we have.
What we wanted.
Don't forget as well, if he wants to play two up front, and again, I said it earlier, and I agree with Dan. Big man, little man. He's got options as well, so it doesn't have to be Johnson. Tell's not a winger; he's a second striker. Son's a second striker. He's not a winger. So you've got options there for when he wants to play two up or one just behind the front man or whatever, the big man, little man option. He's got that there to do that in lots of different ways if he wants to play that way. I think you'll see him playing lots of different ways anyway, to be quite honest with you.
We're going to have a manager that's going to adapt and change towards games, which we haven't had in the last 2 seasons. So that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to see something that's going to go, right, this is going wrong. Let me try this. Let me try and change the midfield. Let me try and change the formation. With And, we didn't have that. We just had look, we're going to play this way, and then that's it. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. I live and die by the sword, and that's not what we needed. That's not what we needed in the last 2 seasons.
I mean, Sonny's a great example, right? Sonny gets on he gets into that little channel, gets onto his right foot, puts it into the top into the top corner. He's done that. I've seen him do that so many times, right?
Yeah.
That is, he loves doing that. Or he gets into that position, the defender goes that way, and then he goes inside and he shoots with his left foot.
Do you think we should keep Son or sell him then?
But he can't.
Let me put something with Son. Let me see with Son. Look, the guy, like with him, he's stuck with us. Like, he's 31 now. Is he 31? Is it 31, 32? Is he 33 now?
I think so.
Yeah, he's
32, 33 this year, is he?
You're older than Kane, I think.
Well, okay. Right. The guy has been here for 10 years now. 10 years, yeah. He's stuck with us when everyone has told us to fuck off. Like everyone else fucked off. No. Let me finish the point. Yeah, he's stuck there. He's won Europa League. Right. Fair play. He's done it. He's been there. What I think for Sonny is that we should just keep him, but only utilise him for the last 20 minutes of a match, because that's when he can be most impactful, and give him that privilege of what he's done is sticking for us. I know there's no sentimentalism in football, but I've got a bit of sentimentalism with Sonny because he was the one that's
a problem. Now
I know it's a problem. I know it's a problem. No, that's one player I'm being a problem with. Everyone else.
One player that you're paying 220 grand a bloody week for and everything. That's only 20 minutes. Oh, sorry, I got 20. I missed 20 grand out of it. I'm sorry.
Dan, you're right. That's me being sentimental.
Exactly.
Because I've got a sentimental value for Sonny.
If you want to get to the top, you can't be sentimental and emotional, and that is one big problem we have at Spurs.
But Bayern Munich. Who is their striker? Müller. Who's the striker again?
The one that just broke his ankle?
I don't care.
Musiala.
No, the striker that's been there for years.
You're talking about Thomas Müller.
Thomas Müller.
Yeah.
He's been there, but he's been hit by a player at Thomas Müller. He's been a bit of that. I think that's
still good enough to play in that first team. Son isn't.
No, but I'm saying Thomas Müller was doing 20 minutes minutes for those sort of games. He weren't playing full 90 minutes. Surely not. Surely he wasn't playing full 90 minutes. He's not playing full 90 minutes in front of Kane, is he?
They don't call him the White Wolf for no reason. Yeah, if you go and check up what he plays, he still plays plenty of time.
Plenty of time, but he's not playing full 90 minutes like you want Sonny to do. That's what I'm saying. He's not playing full 90. He's not playing full 90. What? He's playing in front of Kane.
Look at it this way. Yeah.
Is he playing in front of Kane?
Right.
Is he playing in front of Kane?
Let me finish. He's not a striker, so no, he won't be playing in front of Harry Kane. He's an attacking midfield central. Yeah, he plays behind Harry Kane. Right.
Yeah, but
the problem is with someone like Son. The problem is with someone like Son. He's like a Michael Owen. His career will deteriorate very quickly when he starts getting to that age where his pace goes down because he relies on his pace so hard. Like a Michael Owen, like other players out there that need their pace to play. Now, when you've got someone like Harry Kane, Wayne Rooney, that don't rely on pace so much, they can keep their career going. But where Son relies on his pace and stamina so much, and he is obviously regressing due to his age, not his fault, he's regressing as a player. So what you do as a big club, like Chelsea, like City, like Man U used to, like other teams would, you say, right, you're on the way, baked potato, mate, see you later. I don't care if you've been here 10 years and you've been brilliant. Thanks a lot, much appreciated. You know what? I'll even give you a Blue Peter bloody badge. I want to win at this club. I don't support Son. I don't support Kane. I don't support Thomas Frank. I support Tottenham Hotspur. And I want what is best for him. And if that player's been here 10 years, brilliant. We'll have a game for him and everything. Do you know what? Have another £1 million. But you ain't good enough for that first team no more. You got to go.
Okay, hear me out.
I'll tell you what.
You're completely fair with your points. You're completely fair with your points, and I completely understand your points. It's just with Scotty, I think it's so different because I still think in the last 20 to 30 minutes of the game, I think he's got something to give. I think if you've got 20, 30 minutes of the game of any game, regardless of what it is, who you're playing against, I think if you've got 30 minutes left, you bring Sonny on, and he's got fresh legs. I think he'd do something. I think he can win you that game. And I think personally, in my eyes, that I think he deserves it for the last year of his contract that he's got. He's got 1 year left. I think it's a year extension. That's all we're talking about here. I think we should let him play that year extension.
Or sell him for 40 million. Or sell him for 40 million. Because whoever buys him is going to get their money back on that day, like Juventus did with Ronaldo when they got him in.
Fair play.
South Korea goes there.
I understand. I understand. I completely. Your points are all valid, and actually, I kind of 90% agree with you. Maybe it's just sentimental value of me of seeing Sonny, the first the captain to win the fucking cup for us. I think he just deserves it. One season. Do you know what I mean? You understand, Dan? You understand?
I do.
He's the guy. He's the guy. Look, and he also sacrificed. Not sacrificed, but also he was willing to maybe not willing is the right word, but he didn't play in the final. He played for the last 20 minutes of the final. See him running on and playing absolutely dog shit, by the way. He was absolutely atrocious in the final. But he did that and lifted the cup after being there for 10 years. It meant a lot for us as the fans, but to be there.
Then can you argue then he should leave on a high? Because if he won the cup, he could leave on a high.
If he wants to leave, yes. But if he doesn't want to leave and spend the last year of his contract, I don't mind him playing 20, 30 minutes for the rest of the next season to try and win us a few games and stuff like that. And because he can make that difference. So that's just me. That's my team. It's just a thought. That's just me thinking, maybe being sentimental about Sonny, but also I think he can do a job of the next year.
But I don't think it just has to be about sentimentality as a positive reason for Sonny to stay at Spurs. Sonny, I don't think Sonny. I will say this, right. I don't think Sonny is an on the pitch captain, and I think there are people. I think there are captains who are on the pitch captains, and I think there are people who are training pitch captains. Right? I've got this very sort of clear delineation in my mind, and maybe in history there's been players who've done both, but I think Sonny is very much like a cultural heart of our club and of our dressing room. And I think even if musings, like you say, even if he only plays 20 minutes a game, but is in the dressing room, I think he has a massive positive impact.
100%. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And I think the fact that he did have a chance to leave when we had Nuno and he signed
exactly.
I think
he had the chance to go and he didn't. He stayed and he won a fucking cup. And he done what all the other players didn't do. Like Harry Kane could have done it. Harry Kane could have fucking stayed last season and all this season before and stayed, and he could have won this European Cup, but he didn't.
He signed a contract when we had Nuno. Let's just everyone's going. Frank doesn't have the pull of Ange. We had Nuno Espirito Santo, and he signed a new contract with us, and he went up on that bus and he went, "I fucking love this club." and I think
That's why I think he deserves is the remainder of his contract and become a club ambassador because of what he's done.
Or you can
Let's
turn it
get-
round and say, last bit I'll say on that because I've got to shoot. Or you can turn around and just say Kane had more ambition than Son. Because if Son was as good as people say, and he was good for us, and if he could have gone somewhere and won titles and everything else, isn't that what an ambitious person does?
No, because he had loyalty for the club. Then he had loyalty for the club. He should have gone. He could have gone. Everyone was rumouring for him to go, but he stayed.
It's just another way to look at it. I'm playing devil's advocate. That's
No,
all.
you're right. You are playing
Thanks
devil's
for having us
advocate.
on, mate. I've got to shoot.
Let's just get Mark and Hasper's opinion on it, and then we'll end it up.
Go on, Az.
Yeah, so like
Sounds
with Sonny, yeah. I'm like kind of Son don't care if that makes any sense. Like if he wants to stay, that's fine. But you're gonna realize, especially with this kind of signs we're making, he's not going to get much game time. He might start like the odd cup game. He might be like an impact player, like Musing's kind of basically alluding to. But it might help. Bear in mind, I wanted Sonny sold after the Conte season, just for context. But bear in mind, he might be good, like as a kind of a transition for Frank as well, because like Ange kind of used him in that way in the first season to kind of transition himself with the players. Having Sonny around because he's just such a likable person, he'll stay as a captain, stay for one more season for the club, and I imagine he'll just get along with Frank anyway. It might be good to have him around in that sense, but in terms of as a player, I just don't think if we carry on making signs like this, I don't think he's going to get much game time. But again, that's what I mean by I don't really care that much, because you can have him around if he's happy to stay and play that sort of role, like a bit part on the field and then maybe more off the field. But that's just down to him, really. Or you could sell him and get whatever money we're going to get for him and go buy another player. But I would just kind of whatever happens, really. I'm not really as bothered as everyone else with it. Like, I'm not as sentimental with Sonny. And I'm not like as invested with other people as Sonny. Like, I like him as a player when he was, under Pot, for example, but I just don't have that sort of, he's Sonny, he stayed under Nuno, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like that, really. I'm just like, okay, he stayed under Nuno. That's his choice.
Mark. Yeah. Cookie, what do you think, mate? Like Sonny, and then we'll end it now.
I just think there'll be times when he plays as a second striker in certain games. I think there's going to be lots of games going round. He'll play as a second striker. What I would like to see is now and again, even though I don't class him as a winger anymore, a bit like what Musing said, I'd like to see him when we are 1-0 down or we are 1-1 and you got Heung-min Son on the bench with 20 minutes to go, and terrorise their right back with his, he can put all that energy into that 20 minutes rather than having to pace himself for that 90 minutes for those just few explosive bits through the game. He's got 20 minutes to assault his right back. Yeah? 100%. Go and assault him. Make his life a misery for 20 minutes. If you get that out of that Son and it costs you 200 grand a week for next season, so be it. It is what it is. He's here. And if he's going to stay here, that would be how I would utilise him. Unless in those 20 minutes, when he's coming on regularly in those 20 minutes, he starts to find some real form again. But that would be how I would utilise him anyway.
I'm absolutely with you, Mark. A couple of days ago, I was very much like, let's sell Son. If we can get 30-40 million for him, I'm all good. I want to see a change of attack. I want to see new look team. But now, if we are signing the likes of Kudus, the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White, maybe a few more, then I haven't got a problem with Sonny staying. I know he's probably not going to be the main starter. My problem was him starting every game. If he's going to come off the bench and influence the team and influence the game, I'm more than happy for him to do that. But let's see what happens, guys. I will leave it there. I have been trying to end the show for about half an hour, but it's all good. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
You've been trying to end the show for the last 50 minutes, mate, but fair play to you. Stuck on. So.
No, it's been nice not having to talk, just sitting back and watching everyone else talk. But thank you so much to everyone in the comments, guys. If it's not for you guys in the comments, then the show is pointless. It's not worth doing. So thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you to my guests. Thank you to Hasbro. Get and subscribe to him,
Thanks for
please.
coming on.
Thank you to the 2 Marks Cookie. Thank you very much, mate.
Can I
Subscribe to
just
the
say,
2 Marks Show.
Nigel? Can I just say,
Yeah.
tomorrow night, the 2 Marks, 8 o'clock. Nigel will be on with us. You chaps are more than welcome to join. We're going to continue this conversation because it's been really good. Nigel's done 3 hours on this. I'm sure there's more time we can spend talking about Tottenham Hotspur in general. You lads are more than welcome to come on, and we'll have a good old chat. And anyone else in the chat that wants to come on tomorrow night, you'll be more than welcome at some stage too. Just wanted to say that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Nigel.
And who knows, by tomorrow evening, there could be a couple more transfers to talk about.
Who knows?
Musings, thanks for joining me, Musings. Musings, what's your name? What's your...
Tony. It's Tony.
Big up,
Tony.
mate. Thanks for joining us.
Tony, that's my handle on YouTube. It's just sort of, I thought it was funny to type it, that's all.
No worries. Thank you for joining us, guys. And is it Rayan?
Rain.
So Rain.
Thanks for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it and really enjoyed your output. And to everyone here, thank you so much, guys. And as always, stay positive, stay poised, and stay pure Coys.
Brought us joy at the beautiful lake.